Alright everyone, welcome back to another Dislyte video. This one's going to be a little more fun. We're going to mess around on a tier list. Because why not? It's a gacha game. Everybody needs to share their opinion. I'm not alone here because single solo commentary on a tier list is very boring. So I'm here with my boy Fighter.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah. So I showed him the game. And he likes it. I've been playing for a while. We're gonna go through characters. It's only up to Ophelia. I know Zeus drops in like on the 23rd. Maybe if this saves, we'll just come back and add to it. You know?
Oh yeah, yep. There should be a save function on the bottom. So
is there a save function on here? Perfect. End up saving it. Come back to it because I know there's some nerfs and buffs and changes coming with the Zeus patch as well.
Yep, so that should be fun to go through.
Yep, we're just gonna go through it in order and go from there. I've got an atlas up on the side because in case I forget character names.
Yep.
So first, first we're gonna start with our Queen Mother.
So, personally, she does very well in Point Wars and Towers. That's probably some of her best range, considering that she is immune to disables and removes debuffs of other allies. That kind of gives
and heals them.
Not only and heals them and gives them an AP boost. That passive
she gives the AP boost to herself.
Oh, yeah. But tack on her captain's ability of 30% HP increase out of all ESPERs. She does a lot of cleansing, which is super important in a meta where buffs and debuffs do truly matter, and it's not all about brute force.
Yeah. Also, not a lot of people saw her valuable at the time, but when the Desolate Lands came out, the like quote unquote end game content, in the Shadow Stream. I think the flow one, the purple one, she gained a lot of value in there too. Just being a bulky frontliner who's allowed to, give AP up, heal every turn, do HP-based damage, and transfer debuffs. Especially because I think in this fight it's the one where you need to focus on turns and cleansing a lot, so.
And not only that, her basic attack has a chance to stun. 75% chance is very high for a stun chance on just a regular basic.
Mm-hmm.
And then putting levels into it can get that even higher, because I know at base it starts at 100% damage and then it goes up to about 110. Overall, very well. She does struggle, however, with Chronos and a Pep. Just not so much a Pep, but definitely Chronos. She takes a little bit hit by, but it's not so much to where she
doesn't have
help.
A ton of use in Chronos because Chronos only stuns like every other turn.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And then in Fafnir, she doesn't have a multi-hit, so it makes it really hard for her to prosper in there too much.
Mm-hmm.
She would normally, before the Desolate Lands, she'd probably be in like C or D, because there are definitely characters that do her job better, but I think with Desolate Lands, she sits at a nice like B.
I would say that she's pretty balanced.
She's definitely stronger now. She's annoying if you run into her in the Cube Miracle, though, as an enemy, because she's just so thick and lives forever.
Well, that's your support for you.
Yeah, it is a support for you. Alright. So next we have Nut. Or Tai? T-I-E-T.
Yeah, I don't know how to say it.
I just call her Nut. It's just easier to say. So Nut is easily one of the better ESPERs, strictly because of her speed lead. She has a lot of value because of that. You'll see her on most arena teams as a lead, most hollow battles as a lead. Speed leads are good in PvE content, good against some bosses and the rituals. I don't know for sure if it's the best thing to have in the Desolate Lands. I've barely touched it because I'm still like mid-game. I can't easily like clear the Desolate Lands easy, but
yeah. Personally, I was kind of going through some stuff about her in the Shadow Fire, Shadow Gale, and Shadow Stream, she definitely does take a bit of a hit, just because of the fact that, like you guys said, it's all late game based. Targets are a lot faster. They get extra turns. They can do all this other stuff. Well, yes, she does give a 20% speed buff, as well as
She doesn't give a
inflicting.
speed buff.
Her captain's ability is a.
Oh,
sprint
you're talking
increase
about
of
the
25.
lead skill.
Mm-hmm. And then not only Devouring Void is probably one of the most interesting alts in the game, considering it redistributes all the AP among team members.
Yeah, she's a good lead and like AP controller for sure and everything, but I think like with Dislyte lands, the bosses aren't affected by anything she does.
Right. She's definitely very strong in the PvP section as well. Just up against mostly any team. She is very scary considering she is a disabler. She skill drains pretty well, and she basically slows down it.
I think if she
else.
wasn't a speed lead, she would be as good.
I definitely believe so as well.
But I think we're gonna put her. Well, I think
I
think with everything like you could run her in the game, being only bad at maybe like one or two
late
things.
Game.
Like Desolate Lands isn't gonna be good for her, and then against what like Fafnir, it isn't gonna do much. But
Yeah,
that's about
Fafnir
it.
is probably. But that's literally late game. She's utilized basically through the start of the game, everywhere else except for the late game, which means she does stay on S. Yeah. Now, if she does get a tap down on her PvP side, like the tower, points war, then obviously she would end up moving down.
Yeah, basically just PvP pretty much. All right, next we have Dozier.
Or Dozier.
He's one of the 4-star espers. He's one of the first. Like I said, we're just going in order of the list here, and he's interesting. I haven't seen a lot of people use him in PvP because probably they're just using whatever is deemed better by the community as a whole. He's definitely one of the bulkier espers, but I don't think it really helps him a ton.
I mean, honestly, the only thing that I can see him doing good at is APEP, considering he gets Bull Rage every time he's hit.
Yeah, he has a high resistance.
Right, and then the only real way you're able to use Bull Rush easily is Burning Roar, and at that point you have to have at least 10, at least 6 or 7 for it to be worth it. But like you said, Kronos is not going to do much. Fafnir is not going to do much.
I think he'd be okay in Kronos.
Well, he'd be okay, but once you get into PvP like Tower, Points War, and even in late game, he just falls off hard.
Yeah.
Especially with some of the tanks.
The game is definitely at a point where offense is the only way, so having a defensive team is just not really a thing yet. They really need to either like tone down buffers or nerf buffers or release characters like Zeus coming out that can dispel every character, inflict buff blockers, stuff like that.
Honestly, we're gonna see a lot of tanks at B or below. It's just a shame because it's becoming more of a support meta too.
I would still pick him over one other character in this game.
I would too, but we can.
I would still pick him over one other character that is also Inferno. So I'm gonna put him in D.
Yes.
So next we
have
Jenny. We have Jenny. I actually have a fully built Jenny, me personally.
You always say how much you're very interested in her.
I use her in Fafnir a little bit because she has the multi-hit and she can dispel the immunity. The stuns are very good as a controller. She has very high stun chance on a lot of stuff, especially stuff that's like multi-hit. You know, she can dispel a single target of all their buffs. It's based on her max HP, so she's built to be this bulky defensive controller. She also steals AP from characters as well. And I run her with Zeus, set Zeus and immunity in hollow battles in case she's not fast enough to be able to start controlling the field. But also with Zeus, it adds an extra 25
25%.
25% chance on top of the 40 she has on some of her abilities, and with them being multi-hit, that has a chance to proc multiple times. She's definitely not one of the best controllers in the game, but I think she's definitely slept upon really hard.
I think she's slept upon too, considering if you decide to put her on head, she's like you said before, she has multiple attacks and it's 25% per attack. She's also getting the 20% accuracy on top of that. So the more chances that she's able to hit that and not miss and be able to increase the chance of that effect being on them is pretty big. And that's why I kind of see her a lot in a PvP sense as well.
Oh, yeah. She's definitely, she's more definitely for sure PvP, and she's definitely like point war, hollow battle. You could probably bring her in tower if you need to control a single character, but she definitely falls off against rituals like Chronos and Apep, because you can't you can't stun those bosses. But I only run her in Fafnir because she does have multi-hits and she can dispel the immunity if I need to.
That's for sure.
So I would say personally, even with all of her stuff, there are better controllers in the game because her control is limited to at max 3 characters instead of 5. It makes her better at Hollow Battle specifically because it's only 3 characters. So I'm going to put her in B, but I'm going to put her above the Queen Mother.
I would agree.
There are definitely better controllers in the game. But if there's ever a battle, like an event in the future that has 3 characters, like there was during the ESPER feud, there were definitely times where there were like 3 enemies and I just brought her and they just couldn't move.
Right. There's definitely more improvement. She's in an okay state.
Yeah, she's not like overly busted, she's not overly valued, but she's definitely slept on in some moments compared to other characters, I feel.
I think if they end up working on, like, for instance, supports and if they tackle disablers and supports and attacks, I think she needs to get maybe a little bit of help just to bring her back in, considering a lot of people sleep on her, but I don't think she needs to get toned down at all.
No, not yet, no. Alright, so next we have the White Snake by Liuli. This is the, what is this? This is the first Shimmer on the list.
Yep, first fighter.
So, I've personally not used her. Have you used her at all?
I've used her a little bit.
Okay.
She's definitely very interesting. I use her a lot for Apep, just because of Purification as a whole.
Yeah,
with the chance of stealing buffs from Apep. Her ultimate is super strong. Considering not only is she getting 1 buff from each enemy, she's also inflicting Seer, and then not only that, she's losing only 50% of the percent damage per attack after the first hit on that target. So if you end up hitting 3 different targets, it's no damage loss. If you're only doing it with 2, it's also fine. One thing, though, that I have found that's really shocking is she doesn't have a captain's ability, which I kind of understand why.
That's okay, not every character
as being a tier 3.
Well,
her passive is...
Not every character needs a captain ability.
No. Her passive about shedding off a debuff that she has, also giving team-wide HP by 5% at the start of each turn. That's also kind of strong, but I think she starts to fall... she starts to fall in PvP as a whole.
Yeah, I don't see... I mean, with the new Astral Witchcraft change, I can see her passive being a little better, but if she doesn't have a debuff, then I don't think she heals. Oh, no.
Right. She has a silence, but that's it. She's only got a silence, and it requires that in order to get it.
I know at first she was definitely really strong because there was no damage reduction with each hit, so she would just go into a single target thing and just blow it up.
Yeah.
Like Sonic Rituals, which we haven't really talked about because the Sonic Rituals are fairly easy to beat.
I was about to say, they're fairly easy. You can Now, there's definitely some stages where you can be like, okay, I need to strategize a little bit more, but everyone, it's kind of, you can set to auto and just go.
I just run a poison combo on every single one of them. Doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
exactly.
I just run Circuit and Layla. That's all I do.
I mean, that's the only people you need.
Yeah, so I think she's down in D.
I would agree as well.
Because if she cleansed the whole team, it'd be different, but at that point, she'd just be the Queen Mother.
She'd just be Queen Mother, except for just as a fighter, not a support. And she's not a support; she's a fighter.
Yeah. So next we have Azanath, or Nefera 10. There's a beautiful, voluptuous woman.
Yes, she is.
So she is good. She has a lot of strong abilities in her kit. She has a Dispel on her first attack for 1 buff. She has a heal on all allies, and she gives recover. And she also allows AP gain, along with a damage reduction on her 3rd ability due to her Lotus Mark. Which is good and all, but... Which is good, yeah. If you have her, she's a very strong healer, and you should definitely use her. But there's just healers that are better than her.
Yeah.
Like, who dispel better, like Chang'e. Her heal is global and cleanses everything. Her cleanse is only on her first ability. You know, maybe you could run Astral Witchcraft on her so she can multi-hit. Oh no, she doesn't dispel. She doesn't dispel herself and allies. She dispels a buff from the enemies. So that's
right.
Her weakness is the fact that she cannot dispel debuffs if you don't have immunity run on the team.
And not only that, like you said, it is a offensive supportive meta to where her Dancing Buds really does take a hit, considering not a lot of people are... While people are building HP, it's not a lot of HP.
No, it is.
10%. It is?
No, yeah, there's no offensive support meta right now, no.
But 10% of their max HP added to the 80% that of her attack. While the recovery is great, and the recovery can go all the way up to, like... She can heal probably maybe a quarter of her health. She does definitely fall behind if she's not triggering Lotus Mark, in my opinion.
It's, yeah, so, like, the main comparison that's going to happen with a lot of supports is to Clara, who is receiving a slight nerf, but right now we're not talking about that, is that compared to Clara, she had her AP boost isn't conditional, she just hits a button and it's there. You gain 30%. Mm-hmm. Nef technically gives more, but they need to get hit first, which is not the easiest thing. Clara also dispels, Clara also gives immunity, and, you know, heals basically every turn. So
I mean, she's great during Rituals and Sonics because she's giving everybody 30% increase if she's captain, but that's about it.
Yeah. I still think she's really solid, but but there are definitely... You know, we easily just said 2 characters that do her job a little better.
Right. So I would end up putting her up in A, honestly.
You put her in A?
I would put her in A. I think she's definitely...
she's on the same level as the Queen Mother.
You know what? I can see that. I can see that being the case.
Because the Queen Mother does similar stuff with healing, with a little bit of control. She doesn't have the AP up, but she can make herself go more often than normal, removing more
Not
buffs.
only that, she's granting speed to her team. She's captain. And that's in all fights. Remember, Azanen's captain's ability is for only Ritual Miracle and Sonic Miracle, which,
the Queen Mother also only gives HP, but you're 9 times out of 10, you're not really a defensive leader.
Now,
still.
I did research, and people are saying that she is a late-game character, but
I don't really...
If you're thinking about the general population of the game and actually using her for Chronos, APEP, and even in Points War, she does fall a bit down there. That's why I sort of saw her as an 8, but then I think of
I think
all
she
the new
has some
players.
use in Dislyte Lane because the damage reduction is going to be nice, and you're guaranteed to get hit right at some point in the Dislyte Lands.
Mm-hmm.
So I think B is correct because we've stated
Yes.
characters that were just better.
Yep.
Than her. All right, Apollo, the
Yes, sir.
infinite miracle reward for beating level 100. Now, Apollo is very strong.
He's nuts.
He is very crazy strong. He's only getting a slight nerf coming up. His first ability is only stealing 10% instead of 15. That's not really gonna do anything, honestly, because he is a huge buff dispeller right now.
He truly is. He dominates PvP, just straight up. He dominates the
He's
PvP
annoying
scene.
as well.
Hollow Battle, he's annoying. The only real person that he struggles with is Apep, but in reality, it's not very much. Falls off a little bit.
He can just steal their AP and make the boss just not go quick enough. Especially if you build him really fast, he will just have so many turns.
And personally, he's absorbing. Not only that, like you said earlier, he's absorbing AP. He's got dispels. He can reduce the enemy's AP.
He's got a decent
also
stun
can
chance.
stun.
That if stunned, he gains more AP. He is just meant to be fast.
He is
and
meant
quick.
to. Yep, and his captain's ability of 40% accuracy just helps him out that much further.
Mm-hmm.
Personally,
and Infernus is a pretty good dispeller right now because of Gabrielle.
That's
being
for sure.
Wind. I'd say he's the first one up top.
I actually ended up putting him up there too.
He's definitely
just
the first
because
one
of the
up top.
fact that from mid game is when you really start getting to near 100 on the Infinity, near the Infinity Miracle. You get him and the game is easy at that point. Once you get towards late game, obviously he falls off for other characters, but you barely sweat when using him.
Yeah, unless he somehow misses his steal, but that rarely happens.
Yeah, but that if you're not building at least somewhat accuracy on Apollo, what are you doing? Apollo's bow set is perfect for him.
Sorry, everyone. I just had a idea to add my BlueStacks to the side of this so that there's something else on the screen besides nothing. Just so everyone can see a nice little, just see him like dancing on the side of the screen, nice and simple. When we click on him. Put it right there. Yeah, live editing. Woo! All right. Anyways, Thor. We move on to Thor or Donar. Donor.
I think it's Donar.
Donar probably. So I don't have Donar. As you guys saw from my gallery, I don't have him. So this is all up to, I don't know if you have him or if you've used him. But...
So I don't have him. Just watching other people use Donar, he's very interesting. I've gone up against Donar a couple of times. At the end of each turn, he goes into conductor mode, and then at the end of the turn, he'll deal damage equal to his defense, considering he's a tank, at the beginning of his next turn.
And if he crits
if he crits, he reduces the cooldowns on Thundercrack by 1 turn, from going from 3 to 2. If he's able to hit that crit, then wow, he is going to get that in 2 turns instead of 3. Yeah. And not only that, if you build full defense, if you find that balance, that 2 to 3 of defense is 2 and 2 to 1, his ult Explosion in the Sky does 103% at max level.
Yeah, like I know he can do a lot of damage personally, just in like like Hollow Battle or like PvP settings, I've never been like worried or scared to fight him.
I think you definitely
Maybe it's
have
just
to.
because my team is just better, but I don't think defensive DPSs are a strong thing in PvP right now.
Uh, that's for
Maybe
sure.
I'm
I think
wrong and
I
I
would
haven't
see
run
him.
into a godly Thor yet, but you know, that could be any character. They
I
could,
mean, he does grant immunity as well
it is
with
only
his
to self.
ult, but it's only to himself. So, and immunity for 2 turns. I mean, if you hit a crit, that's great. Thundercrack gets online again, but the cooldown for Explosion in the Sky is 5 turns,
4 at max,
4 at
which
max.
is pretty good.
Which it's great. I mean, I think it works great, but I think he just falls short because tank DPS is a very high risk, high reward thing to get into.
Yeah, you just gotta. I think you also just gotta make sure you're fast enough too. But that's just the whole game in general.
Yep. So I think
I
he's powerful. Don't get me wrong, but he does need some speed characters or some speed buffs to help him get to where he needs to go. So I would put him in B.
I would say to safely put him in B because neither of us really have experience using him either.
I think he's borderline. He's borderline. I think he's better.
I bet
He's
there are some people
borderline
that have
into
some
A.
really cracked Thors out there that do a crap ton
That's
of
what I'm
damage,
thinking too.
But that could also be
Uh,
said for like someone has a cracked Joser out there.
Dozer
you know.
team and stuff like that. Because honestly, I would see Donar like playing with Rensai,
Barden.
or Black Tortoise. That one,
Barden,
even
Barden gives defense as well, and he's
Barden,
also defensive.
Hera.
Yeah. We'll just
Just
safely
those
put him in B
characters.
because neither of us really have good experience with him, but we think that his kit is strong and a lot of people value him.
Oh, we're going Pandora next.
I don't know about Pandora.
Pandora is
Her whole
requires
her whole gimmick is screwed by immunity or cleanse.
that's actually one of the truths. But at the same point, if she is faster than everybody on the field, then she has a great chance to set something up. If she doesn't get to go first, she's screwed. Gift of the Gods is very high risk, high reward. And sometimes you might not even be able to get it. She's great in Point Wars, just solely on the fact that she gains that 40% accuracy. But really, her only buff is speed up, which I think it's only on her.
It's on her third ability. Speed is good. Don't get me wrong.
On Gift of Gods.
If you're a character that has a speed buff, like you have value instantly because speed matters so much in a game.
It's just
like
that
this.
you've got to be fast.
It's just you have to be faster than characters that will cleanse it, or you have to intentionally be slower than characters that cleanse it and have somebody who can dispel immunity beforehand. So like you need to be faster. You need to either be faster than characters like Clara, Gabrielle, even Changpu, Chang'e, even Sally is someone who can dispel it very easily. Or you have to have somebody who can dispel, and you have to be slower than all those characters combined to really get the full effect of her gimmick, which is the Pandora's Box debuff.
Personally, I would have her at C. I think she's better than Dozier and Bai, but not better than any of the other people.
I just think her gimmick, I would put her in C because I think her gimmick is so easily disrupted right now with characters in the game that I just mentioned previously, that it would just be, maybe if it's toned down, or maybe Zeus is the character that she's looking for to, dispel everything and apply Pandora's Box after a whole bunch of buffs just went through. Like, maybe Zeus is the character she's waiting for to pair up better.
I think we'll definitely see her rise up in the next few months.
Oh yeah, with more dispellers, I feel like we'll definitely see a lot more characters for sure. I just realized I forgot to put Alice on this list.
Oh well.
Yeah, they didn't put Alice on this list. That's fine. Maybe they'll remember. Because this is Dislyte's... Is this Dislyte's website?
I think it is.
Okay, whatever. Next we're on Half-Hour. We're on Lynn. So, Lynn is very interesting. You technically get her for free. You get a copy of her for free as a, it's like a new player going through some, like, getting started step campaigns. She recently got some buffs to do more damage. Her strongest fight is against Fafnir.
Yes, she demolishes Fafnir easily.
Mm-hmm. Because what? She...
I have the goddess, her 2.
Yeah.
Does an insane amount of damage, as well as dispelling the 1 buff for the target per strike.
Yeah, so she has 3 chances to remove.
3 chances to remove 1, or she could get at least 3. And then she drops an attack down debuff for 2 turns upon dispelling a debuff. So if you lose 3 buffs, you're getting attack down for 6 turns.
No, that's not how that works.
You sure?
No, it doesn't stack. It just goes for 2 turns.
Okay.
Yeah,
But ruler of Dendera. Wow, what an ultimate, basically.
280% scaling and inflicts sear, which means that her next
upon a
attacks
crit,
will do more damage.
3% bonus damage and 3% shield health.
Yeah, and that 30% is a separate bonus, so it will just scale the damage even higher.
And she's starting at level 1 with what, 245?
Something around there,
at rank 1. So she gets immunity for 1 turn. If she's basically, you want to build crit on her, she runs on crits.
Yes.
She's probably around that S tier. I wouldn't say she's on.
We got to remember that she does do high damage. She's good in Fafnir. I have not seen her perform anywhere else. I don't see her running Chronos. I don't see her running APEP. Sonic Ritual, sure, probably go for it. You can probably run anything in there almost.
That's fair. I see that now.
I haven't seen her in Desolate Land teams. Maybe I could see her possibly being run in there because of the shield.
Maybe Shadow Stream, but the other two.
No. You won't. No, Shadow Stream would be the right one. I get that triangle mixed up all the time.
Yeah, I would agree that she's on B as well, actually. Because she definitely does need some work. She needs a team around her a little bit. Because, I mean, she gets stunned or she's slowed, she can't get online, and that's a big problem.
Yeah. It's just the only place I see her is Fafnir, and then, that's about it.
Shadow Stream, maybe.
Maybe
APEP.
Alright, so now we move on to Bonnie. Now, I've only seen stuff with Bonnie because I don't have Bonnie, but Bonnie's really good. Bonnie's max ability is what is it? She dispels 1 buff, gives team-wide AP increase, and increases their team ability cooldowns as well. So if you make her fast enough, you make everyone's first turn be just a basic attack, pretty much. She's a very strong controller, and she can inflict stun with multiple hits, so she is decent. With multi-hits, she's decent in Fafnir, and she can steal AP.
I mean, not only that, Disruption will also... Remember, it grants 5% boost per dispelled buff, and it's a team-wide attack.
Mm-hmm.
So if she dispels 5 buffs, that's 20% extra AP, meaning that the rest of her team can get online way faster. And I see her as a PvP, more point wars and hollow battles, just because she gets that 30% extra attack in point wars. But even if she's not in point wars, she is still a truck to hit. She does fall on Chronos and APEP.
Yeah,
she does fall on Chronos and APEP, and in the later end game where it's like Shadowfire, Shadowgale, all that other stuff.
Yeah,
but
in
general, she is strong.
Yeah, she's strong in PvP. She's strong for Cube Miracle. She's strong for Tower. The ability to reduce cooldown is very strong. Put her in 8.
I would agree. Yeah, I think she does need a little bit of help, but not as much as like Ty needs. Ty needs like minuscule help.
Yeah.
But like we said, Bonnie's better than probably everybody in B tier, but definitely nowhere near Ty.
And for comparison, for controller, she's a better controller than Jean because she dispels and lowers cooldown, and I'd rather have that instead of a stun.
I'd rather have a whole team dispel rather than just 3 players.
Than just a stun, because she a single dispel as well.
Yep.
Now we got the boy Unky Chai.
Unky Chai. Honestly, I didn't like him to start with, but Sam's like, "Yo, he's so good."
Yeah,
and I was like, "No, what? I'll run him." And sure enough, I ran him for good 3-4 months until I got somebody else that was a little bit better than him. But
Unky Chai is really good because of his passive. Because of his passive combination. Yeah, he randomly gives he randomly gives 2 allies crit up and attack for 1 crit for 2 turns, attack for 1 turn, which you might think, dang, only 2 allies, that kind of sucks. This does include him, so even in Hollow Battle, it's not like the best. But it's the second part of his passive that if a target is already in attack up, it reduces all their ability cooldowns by 1 turn.
And not only that, like we were just talking about Lyn, for instance, Lyn would benefit with Unky Chai with her because she relies so heavy on crits.
And characters that can rotate ability cooldowns faster will always have strong value in this game, because that means that you do more damage in Sonic rituals. That means you do more damage quicker in Miracle rituals. You do more damage in the Cube. You do more damage in the Desolate Lands as well. Unky Chai can be a very good tank in there as well. He can even do some... I don't know about Hollow Battle and PvP because those are so focused around buffing and immediately bursting. But outside PvP, Unky Chai is a great character for how little it looks like he does. The fact that he is just an ability cooldown rotator is the fact that he will always have strong value until somebody else can do his job better, which is not a lot of people in the game. And he gives himself AP every time he attacks. So you run him Revenge and he will be quicker than you would assume.
He's unstoppable if you do that.
Mm-hmm.
Even running like the Ocean Wave set.
Yep, that's what I do.
Like, he basically has the potential to not only use get 1 turn back on his cooldowns, but also a second as well.
Yep.
So he could have Ropes of Destiny. He could use Ropes of Destiny, and then if it's at max level and he actually gets both of them, 2 turns next. After 2 turns, guess what? Another teammate will get the whole team will not only get attack up, but his cooldowns will already be dropped. So that, I mean, he's very strong. He's not on S tier like Ty is, just because of his PvP presence is a little bit lacking.
Yeah.
But he is definitely more early game, falls off middle game.
No, I don't think there's a time for him to fall off, because even if you get a better DPS or like a better supporter, Unky Chai is still good there because you can still use his third ability just for ability cooldown. So like you could run him with Gaia, for example. Gaia will obviously be faster, but boom, now Gaia gives the whole team attack up, and now here comes Unky Chai, possibly slower, and boom, he reduces everyone's cooldown.
Yep.
So even on a team, you could run double support, and he is able to be strong with that. Even as like a solo, he's strong, but he's even stronger with a secondary support that can also raise attack.
Yep.
All right, next we got
Poseidon,
or what's her name? Beyond Diana.
He's got powerful dispels. I'm just gonna say that right now.
Oh yeah, they have a really good dispel.
Not only does Tsunami do damage to everybody and dispels the buff with the 50% from each target with a 50% chance of dispelling all buffs on a character. That is crazy in PvP. To be able to remove all the buffs on a single character and have it be at least 50% is nuts.
At max rank, it's 100.
What?
Yep. It's 100%. If Poseidon takes action at the start of a turn, dispel one buff from one random enemy and has a 100% chance of dispelling.
Oh my!
Yep.
Now, and then she does true damage as well.
It also, yeah, it prioritizes a buffed enemy, so it won't hit somebody who doesn't have buffs.
Honestly, I can't really see where she falls off.
I think it's the fact that they're just better. There's definitely a place she falls off for the fact that it's single target. You know,
I mean, that's fair.
Maybe with Astral Witchcraft, she gets a little better because of it, because this will proc on every turn, because there's no cooldown to it, so you can maybe get 2 people in a turn. Maybe even a third if the Witchcraft really be popping off. Actually, no, it's restricted to 1 extra turn, I think. It's not like Summoner's War where you can just
she's definitely strong in Shadow Stream, for sure. I see her getting a lot of play in Shadow Stream.
Really?
But everywhere else, like hollow defense, like any sort of defensive, you don't want her on defense. Shadowfire, I think she falls off, and then Apep, for sure.
I think right now with how buff-heady the meta is and how many Dispellers are better, I think she definitely doesn't live up to, like, Apollo or, like, Tricky, who recently got buffed.
No, of course not.
I think her damage is pretty low as a fighter too, even if she does true damage technically, or ignore. I mean, she does ignore.
I mean, Fury of Waters does true damage, and that's 55% of attack to all enemies. Equal.
I think she needs more damage on that.
She definitely needs a little more damage. I mean, the second strike.
I think them ignoring defense is definitely overrated, for sure.
Honestly, she's one of the only espers to be able to do true damage. And to be honest, it doesn't work.
No, she's not.
And the true damage is only only attached if there are unbuffed targets. Yeah, so if they have buffs,
it's conditional. I mean, true damage being conditional is good, but there are other characters that have true damage in the game. It's not just her.
Right. But I'm saying that her true damage is very hard to achieve because it's so buff heavy.
It's so buff resistant heavy. I mean, she also has buff blocker, and she does more. Her first ability is going to swing hard if they don't have buffs, but you gotta
speed her up.
Yeah, I think Astral is probably going to be the best on her in the future, but I'm gonna put her in C.
Yep.
I would value her over the other two.
It's sad to see Poseidon all the way down there, but
I feel like she needs a little work. That third ability needs to do a little more damage, maybe.
Not only that, I think they need just to remove
What's her speed?
True damage off it.
Okay, her speed's 104. It's not that bad.
But it definitely could be a bit better.
No, 104 speed's pretty good. If it's above 100 speed, it's pretty good. Because then from like leader skills, you're getting like 20 to 25 extra speed. Alright, next we're on Unis! Unis is crazy strong. He dominates Hollow Battle by giving a 35% speed buff. He gives, 30% AP to the whole team on his third ability. That does more damage based off his speed, so you want this guy fastest. Super, super, super fast. He gives himself 90 speed due to his passive. He gives himself 90 speed. He gives the rest of the team immunity besides him, so there is a slight weakness to himself, but he's so fast that debuffs disappear just as quick. And he also has the chance to inflict defense down on a single target.
He's probably one of the top 5 espers in the game, as of right now.
I have top 5. I mean, I guess I've never really thought of a top 5, but he's definitely up there as a really strong
He's
esper.
Definitely up there as one of the best.
He's definitely better than...
He's definitely better than Tai. I think because of his immunity only being not towards everybody, but only to a specific couple people.
No, it's to everybody but him.
Everybody but him.
Yeah, it's everybody but him. But he's so fast that if you immune him, it's just going to be like gone in a half second.
Right. He's not in the same tier as Lucas. Lucas just is kind of nuts. But no, I definitely think that he is supposed to be an SS. But remember, Lucas is, a fighter?
Lucas is a controller.
He's a controller.
Yep.
So, honestly, I would rather value control over support.
I would say Unis is SS. He 100%
Yes.
is. But the ability to dispel and control right now is more value due to how buff heavy the meta is.
Yes.
So Lucas would definitely be higher. For sure. But Unis is very good. I'm lucky to have him, even though he's not fully built, and I have used him as like a backup lead and some stuff, so.
I mean, his captain's ability does help.
Oh, I mean, 35% speed hollow battle was crazy. There's only one other character with that.
Yep.
Alright, Chengpu!
Probably, I mean, you get Chengpu early. She's super strong healer.
Immunity.
She gains immunity, which you definitely, as a new player, really kind of want that heal as well as
Reduces
immunity.
AP, heals a single target.
She does a good bit of damage.
Her cooldowns are very low.
Not only is her cooldowns very low, but she does a lot of damage on that basic. Even if everything is down and she's not being the support role, she does 120% of attack at max, with a 100% chance to reduce even by 15%.
Yeah.
Especially in an early game, that's kind of nuts.
For a 3-star, she's a very strong healer, but one glaring weakness on her is the fact that if you are building her specifically for the immunity, you are sacrificing your team-wide heal for that immunity. Even if it is on a 3-turn cooldown, you are sacrificing a big chunk of what she is for a different, bigger chunk of what she does.
Honestly, I built her with the Automine set and 2 abiding Panchea sets.
With the heal set.
20% shield, or shield up to 20% of their max health for allies, as well as 60% healing with the 2 abiding pain.
Oh yeah,
Panchea sets. 60% healing. I built her as a healer, not as an immunity god, not as an immunity ESPER.
Yeah, that's like the glaring weakness that I can't really put her up on, like especially with other supports being good. Because of that weakness, like I think she sits in C on the same level as
Donar and
Asenath. And like, I mean, personally, if I would ever build her, I would have built her up if I didn't get Sally myself. But
honestly, I got Sally late, so I was able to build her all the way up to next. Personally, I swap between the two depending on the situation.
Yeah, that's fine. But that's understandable. It's just the fact that I think like she needs Oceans to really try to counteract the big flaw of immunity on the heal.
And she does fall short in a buff heavy meta. She doesn't really do much else besides healing. And if she's got disease, or I think it's called disease.
Yep, it's disease.
If your whole team gets disease, she's useless.
Yeah. That's where Chunga becomes better, because she dispels first and then heals.
I mean, on that fact, don't you want to put her potentially in C?
No, because she still has strong value with her low cooldowns and her very large single target heal. I wouldn't say she's worse than Neff.
But she's definitely
definitely worse than other supports in the game.
Yes.
For healing wise.
Liao. This boy is weird.
He's got an interesting kit in the Devour sense. I don't really see him used for battling. He's more like I'll see him used as like a level 1 just speed lead and point war.
I mean,
I haven't really seen him.
I don't really see a value for him.
I haven't really seen him used in like combat. He's a defender. He's meant to be like a bulky look at me disabler with Devour, but I just don't see him used.
I would only see him as like an offensive. Honestly, hollow battle is where I see him in, but only on the offensive side.
He's only good in PvP, but people don't build him for PvP. They don't even build him. They just use his speed.
Because there's people way better than him.
Yeah. Never mind. I guess
honestly,
I think there's never mind. I guess there's a couple that are gonna go in.
Yeah.
Because you could say, oh, his speed lead makes him good, but like people aren't building him and using him. They're just using his leader skill.
Not only that, He's easily counterable in every part of his kit.
You pop immunity and Devour is useless, and that's it. He's
The bummer.
I think, yeah, maybe when buffs don't become as strong or the ability to dispel them becomes more prevalent and easier, maybe people mess around with him, but for now I don't see any strong use for him.
No.
Alright. Next we have
Main
the main character. We got Bryn.
Yeah.
Bryn's
I don't know
good.
why it's named Lewis on their site, but no, I'm being serious. It says Bryn there, but you go to her character page and it literally says Lewis.
That's funny. But we have Bryn, the main character. She has very strong value, even as a support. You don't realize she's the main support used for people who like to speedrun rituals and stuff to try to get the fastest time, because her buff ability is pretty slow, or pretty quick, I should say. She has really strong scaling for damage on her 3 at 300%.
Not only that, I see her. She's very good in Fafnir. She blows up Fafnir.
I mean, I wouldn't say she's the best in Fafnir.
Well, no. She's definitely not the best, but she does just a ton.
I mean, that's if the shield isn't up.
Right, but if the shield's up, it just drops the value. There's just a lot of people better than her in PvP sense.
Yeah, there's obviously
barely
better...
used. She's barely used in PvP anymore.
Yeah, I mean, and that's just because there's other support characters that are free and easy to get, like Yasua, Dahlia, Unki Chai. Those are like 3 other free characters you can get that also do that. But then you can summon for characters that are like Gaia. I'm talking buff supports.
Oh, buff supports.
That also give attack and stuff like that.
Now, don't get me wrong. Her for the starting game, she's probably the best character
she's honestly
in the game.
Still a very good character that you shouldn't feel bad about investing into.
Especially in the early game.
She can be a very strong DPS with her 300% scaling. You give her crit damage, attack. You let somebody reduce their defense. You give her some crit rate, and she will probably crit for 100k. Like, 300% scaling is wild. The freeze isn't too crazy. The defense down, it'd be cool if it activated before the hit, but, that's, I think, asking too much. And then she's got speed down on her 1, which can proc 2 times, which isn't bad. Reducing speed is always good.
But I just don't think it has enough value to prop her up into...
Well, here's the thing.
Higher.
Well, here's the thing.
To be honest, I would put her in...
With all the other buffers in the game, she's very mid.
I would agree with that. I think without a team, she's like C or D tier, but because it's a team-based game and buffs are pretty heavy, she's up in B.
Yeah. Alright, free-to-play character number 2, we have Cupid! Or Q, Eros, Q, Cupid, it's Cupid.
We all know who it is.
Now, Cupid's an interesting case. I would say he's got defense down in his kit. He can drop attack on all allies. It's his link that's pretty good. His link could be really good in rituals if you can apply it. Like in Chronos, if you have AOE damage against Chronos, you can have this proc 80% true damage, vice versa, both ways. I just know as a community, like, Q is like hated for some reason, and it's probably just because of his personality. But
honestly,
in PvP,
there's definitely other supports that are way better that are free, in my opinion.
Oh yeah,
I think he's just really weak, especially like once you get past a couple. Once you get like 10 hours in the game, you've got some better than her. Yeah, better than him.
Yeah,
so it's like,
I mean, he's got single target defense down, which is bad. Like, I don't think in PvP he's good because of how strong immunity is. He's
got low cooldowns, but at the same time,
you negate everything he does in PvP or can cleanse it.
There's just not a lot Q can do.
But I would still pick him over.
Yeah,
Liao.
I would pick him over Liao.
Okay.
Drew!
Third free character, number 3! Hold on, let's get the cool one on.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah. Oh, I can't keep it on. You know what? Man, look at that skin. That's a nice skin. I don't have it myself because I don't use Drew enough. Drew is really good. You'd be surprised.
He's very strong.
He is a ritual defense-breaking monster. Since he has an 85% chance of inflicting defense down with decent damage. Overall, he's got the multi-hit that can ignore if you're doing, you know, PvE. And he can reduce the cooldown of that. He's mainly used in rituals and like speedrun stuff for like defense down, but he also has a lot of use for multi-hits if he kills.
Not only that, just the scaling on his death judgment, 260% for the first attack, and if that target dies, it's 150 for the next. And it can up to 3 enemies, so he's great in hollow battles for sure. He can really do a lot of damage.
Yeah, he can cleave in hollow battle. He can do a decent chunk in PvP if he's set up good to do so.
I was about to say that he definitely needs
in ritual speedruns. He's a monster because he's a main defense dropper, and it just does a strong amount of damage at 220% scaling.
So personally, he does need a little bit of help, but definitely on one of the higher ranking Bs.
But top of B.
Yep, I would even agree. He's borderlining A. I mean, you can easily put immunity on.
He doesn't have any use in. He doesn't have any use in.
And then once immunity is down, you can't use the ultimate because you'll waste it. And then his other abilities are pretty interesting too. When it comes to that.
All right, free character number 4. Technically, we got Medusa.
Oh boy.
So Medusa is at the lower end of speed abilities, captain abilities, at only 15% compared to other characters like Newt and Longmian, who are at 20 and 25. She's very good as a controller because she has an AoE petrify, or she petrifies on everything because of her passive. And it is AP based, so if she's really quick, and you have someone like she would pair decently with like Gaia, who can reduce characters' AP to 0, because you could do Gaia and then her, and she has a good chance to petrify everybody because their AP is reduced. And she also reduces it herself before petrifying, so even if they break through, that's very strong.
Yep.
She also reduces AP on her 3rd skill up to 30% if they're debuffed, and she also inflicts speed down for 2 turns and also gives 1 debuff to them if she has any on them. There are definitely better controllers, better speed leads for sure, but if you don't have those characters and you have a Medusa, she's very good to fill that role.
Very. I would say she's borderline. I don't think she's better than Drew though.
She doesn't have any use in Desolate Lands, but like most, most controllers don't.
Honestly, I don't see her better than Drew though.
Really?
I think Drew.
Here, my compare. Okay, is she better than Jean?
As a support character, I think she is better than Jean.
Well, they're both control characters. I think actually, you know what?
Control.
I think only because of her speed lead, I think she's better than Jean, but not enough.
Yeah. I just don't see her better than Anubis or even Uki, to be completely honest.
Okay. No, that's fair. That's fair. Alright, we got Zelmer. So Zelmer used to be crazy before she got restricted.
I was about to say,
because
if she didn't take as hard of nerfs as she did, she'd be a lot higher.
Because she does damage based on debuffs on the enemy. This used to, the part where it says increases damage by 20% up to 120. Yeah, that used to not be capped.
Wait, it wasn't?
Yeah, there was a time where that wasn't capped, so you'd go into a Sonic ritual, there'd be like 8 poisons on them, and she would chunk.
Yeah.
She was. That's why Ophelia now also has a cap. Because they learned from Zelmer not to let that go freely, because people were abusing it. But since the cap, I don't think she's had that much of a presence.
She definitely fell off.
She probably has the same presence in Rituals and Sonic Miracles as she did before, since she could just walk in and chunk them pretty decently.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Because she still does a lot of damage. Having 250% scaling with an extra 120 up to 120%, that still hits hard.
Yes.
That still hits very hard. She can inflict debuffs herself with bleed. She can transfer debuffs that she has on them, and she can defense break for herself. She's definitely a strong single target. I think there's better single targets, but she's not... I don't think she's great in PvP. I don't think she's good in Desolate Lands at all, because you can't really put afflictions on the boss, and I don't think she has any use in Hollow Battle. She is a PvE DPS.
Heavy PvE.
I'll put her in C. Alright. Next, we have the first of the Pole brothers. We have Tang Yun. Tang Yun is very strong.
He's very, very, very strong. Definitely S right away. There's really not much to say about him because
it's his ability to
so
pursuit
strong.
and follow up on himself multiple times. If I were to ever build him, I would definitely do like Astral Witchcraft now, because if he gains an extra turn, that just gives him another chance to pursuit more. He is good in Fafnir, he's good in APEP, he's good in Chronos for multi-hits, he's good in PvP as a single target DPS, he's good in Hollow Battle, he's good in regular PvE, he's just good everywhere. He's even good in Desolate Lands, even at type disadvantage.
That's for sure.
Are there better DPS than him?
I believe there is, but not by much.
Because I'm trying to look in this and see if there are better DPS than him, like overall, like with everything. Maybe Ophelia, because she can do the same stuff. Maybe Newman. Maybe Jiang. We'll put him in S for now. We can easily move some stuff around here, but I know that the value of Tang is a lot. He has a ton of value and he's very strong. All right. Hall.
All right. Next is Hall.
I don't see Hall.
I don't see Hall anywhere besides the start game. That's it.
Yeah, I don't see him at all. I mean, he'll be good for Sonic Ritual. He'll be good for Rituals because he's got defenses. He's got poison in his passive. He can technically follow up.
He's decent in. I only see him in Fafnir because he's easily beat. Even if you're going through like the story or any of the cube rituals, you're not using him anywhere.
I think he's on the same.
Reality.
I think he's on the same level as Zelmer, that he's good in Rituals and Sonic.
But that's it though. And then he's easily shut down.
He might also be decent in the Shadow Stream because he does follow up and pursuit all attacks with his passive. But I haven't seen him use there. Maybe later down the line people might test it to see if it's got use. It's just I think the downside in the Desolate Lands is that he can't poison the bosses. You can't afflict them.
No.
So.
And that's literally a third of his kit is poison.
Yeah. And he's got defense break too, so I think he's good. He's just right now I don't think there's not enough info on Desolate Lands if he could be good. I'm pretty sure that in there he can be decent. But
you definitely have to build an
no
entire
PvP,
team around him.
No Hollow Battle presence. Even in some PvE stages like Tower and Cube, there are just other characters that
even like early game PvP, he's not used, which is scary to think that he's one of these starting characters that you can unlock just by completing the story, and yet he's just there.
There's characters that do his job better.
Yep.
All right, Freddy. Everyone's favorite furry daddy.
Standoff is an interesting buff for him. I mean, while Standoff, I don't really use a lot of Freddy.
Standoff
I
is
had-
decent in Desolate Lands.
I mean, he's like we said before on Lin. He just needs crit rate to really do a lot of damage, as well as he needs
Oh yeah, I mean
he
he's a
needs
DPS.
help in health as well, considering he is a little bit squishy.
Oh yeah, I mean
at
he's
least
a DPS.
when
He's
I
meant
play
to
as
be
him.
squishy. He does have single target dispel.
Which is all right.
He does do more damage to lower his health on his third ability. He does buff himself. Standoff is actually okay.
His
His
cooldowns are a
first-
little bit long, in my opinion.
3 and 4. 3 and 4 is not bad.
I mean, 3 and 4 is not bad, but
It's
if it's not leveled into, I was about to say do that. But to be completely honest, at base without any level ups, 4 and 5 is a little high for starting play. It's a little bit high, but usually by mid you're usually using Uki-chan as or you found a
Uki-chai.
different Uki-chai.
Uki-cha. Pretty good one.
Yep. But in reality, you're probably finding a better DPS by the time mid game rolls around, anyways, because he has a lot of risk and reward.
He also
which
has a
is-
pursuit on his 1 when he is below 50% health,
right.
and he gains crit rate for it. I think he's also stuck in C. Strictly
I
because
agree
I
as
feel
well.
like he might have use in Desolate Lands, but people are using other characters. He has high scaling damage, he can ignore defense. But he's not as bad as like the other 3 down here, and definitely not him. Alright, now
David!
We've got David, Jason David.
Do we need to talk about him?
Why do you just hate him for some reason? Like,
Personally, he's outclassed in every part of his kit. His roundhouse dance, while yes, it has a 100% chance to inflict attack down, and does 130% scaling as a DPS, that is very low. And then his moonwalk passive, if he gets disabled, like if he gets any sort of disable buff before his turn starts, yeah, he'll dispel a buff from himself and taunt a random enemy, but that's it. He doesn't get any bonuses for leveling up. And then Curtain Call, while it attacks 3 enemies for 60% of his attack and steals up to 3 buffs from a target.
it's one enemy 4 times.
Or no, it's an enemy 3 times.
Attack 1 enemy 4 times. Each of the first 3
Oh.
hits deals 60% and steals 1 buff.
Oh, then it's wrong on my sheet. My bad. The final strike dealing 85% of the attack while stunning the target for 1 turn. It comes down to, is there any buffs? Because yeah, he's really for himself and only himself. Because he's not giving his teammates anything. He's taking everything. And
He's like a worse Chloe.
I was about to say, he's a worse Chloe. I mean, yes, he's got the taunt. Yes, he's got the... but he needs to get disabled for his passive to work. He needs a debuff. But at the same point, if for a buff-heavy meta, you just can't do so much with him. Especially with immunity and even purification taking stage and debuff removers. His attack down is pretty useless.
Yeah. For sure. Next we have Lauren.
Yeah. Honestly, David's pretty close to F. Pretty close.
I would still, if I had to pick between these 2 to use, I'd still rather use David.
I would definitely pick David first. Yep.
So next we have Lauren.
Lauren,
immediately has higher value as a healer because she has a revive.
yes. I would say, personally, any character that has a revive is higher than C at minimum, just because she can... Not only is she bringing somebody back from the dead, basically, but you're giving that person another chance to do damage or to recuperate or to build back up so that they can get back into the fight.
And she gains an extra turn after revive, so she can immediately heal them with Rush of Vitality.
Or healing water. or sorry, not healing water.
Healing
but,
water is the revive.
or even using leapfrog to slow down the next enemy that's going to attack.
That's true.
Just so that they can catch up. Honestly, I would put her in between A and B, but definitely.
I would say she has high. I would say like her weakness is she doesn't have AoE healing. She heals one ally and herself.
She's definitely better than Chengpu, but Chengpu definitely beats her.
I think they both have different values at times. Like she doesn't have AoE healing, but she has revive. Chengpu has AoE healing and immunity. You know, I think there's definitely you could switch them out for different stuff.
You could definitely switch them out depending on the situation.
Mm-hmm. All right, next we have Chalmers. He is a ritual nuker.
Not only buff blocker, but diseased. Diseased is super important.
No. These first two abilities, they don't matter. The third ability is what matters.
Yeah.
Because, 120% damage, and, he does bonus damage equals to the enemy's max HP up to 300% of his own attack.
And then not only that,
for the sacrifice of his HP, that doesn't matter. The buff blocker doesn't matter. He is mainly used in rituals.
Yep.
Because he is an absolute nuker. He's definitely paired up with Droop for the single target damage that can be done. This man can easily crit for like 200.
Strong in the Desolate Lands.
I haven't seen him used in Desolate Lands.
Personally, he does very well in Shadowstream. He does very well in Shadowgale. He does fall in Shadowfire, but at the same point...
Yeah, you want multi-hits in Shadowfire.
But at that point, Diseased is pretty important. And to be honest, he'll be able to heal that back up anyways due to different characters on the team that are able to heal anyways, or even give immunity. So...
Yeah, I'll put up just for his raw nuking power, I'd put him in B.
I would honestly. I thought about putting him in A. I mean, yeah, you can basically get rid of the first two abilities, but at the same time, Vital Light Beam giving disease is not so much important in PvE, but important in PvP. And then as well as Gold Ray does decent amount of damage, just straight up. It does more damage. 100% of Idun's attack. Based on the target's max HP, it could potentially do 220 damage per attack.
That's true, but also, like you said, about PvP, he has no presence in PvP.
No,
which is why I'm not putting him in A.
That's fair.
I'm not putting him in A because he has no presence in PvP. All right. Where is she? Bernice Bastet. Very strong support character.
Rejuvenation is through the roof.
Moondance is incredibly strong.
Honestly, the shield she gets on that ability alone
is huge.
And not only that, and if she gets 30% extra shield if an ally is buffed.
Yeah, no, that's the shield overall. Gets a 30% boost. If an ally, allies with a buff gain more shield.
That's crazy. And not only that, Feline Grace attacking 3 times for 120%.
Oh yeah, she's amazing.
With defensive down.
She's amazing. Yeah, she's amazing in Fafnir. She's got defense break. She hits up to 6 times. Overall on the kit, she reduces AP. She has recovery and shield. So, the main thing is her healing and shield can be dispelled, obviously. But if that's not a thing, she will run rampant, and you have to be very cautious of that. Which is why I'm putting her in A.
Okay.
Alright.
Layla! So, I have not actually played Layla.
I have Layla at 6 stars. Layla is definitely, I think, clowned on a lot for no reason. She's good in Sonic Rituals for poison. She's decent in Chronos if the poison damage can go off before it's purified. Not much in APEP, not much in Fafnir. Tower and Cube, she's good if you're running a poison comp. She actually works as a buff dispeller as well, because she does transfer 1 buff from every ally. So if you need her to be, you know, if there's like 1 debuff on you or something, or there's like a debuff you want to get rid of, you can easily dispel it. She's got a decent stun. And yeah, she does do more damage if they're poison, but, you know, you could easily, if you're using her as a DPS, you know, this could do a lot of damage, but as a more of a supportive, slow poison killer with a little bit of control with the stun, she could be very good in some hollow battles.
Definitely situational, I think, in my opinion.
There's definitely a lot more characters that have like higher value with dispelling or transferring buffs for sure, but with it being a team-wide transfer and not just from herself, I think she still goes in B higher than some of these other characters.
I do agree. Surprisingly, if you end up looking for Layla in the Dislyte site, it goes to the regular homepage.
Alright, Leon.
Tier 3 DPS. Her passive, well, it does transfers debuffs prior to each attack,
Which is okay.
Which is okay. Like you said earlier, it's not like team wide, or anything like that. While Marta does 300% scaling,
He's also very strong.
And inflicts marks for 2 turns. She's still very strong.
Yeah,
he's
definitely another character that is a ritual nuker, but not as good as Chandler.
Oh, definitely not. And especially with his captain's ability getting crit rate for 15%.
And he's not even nowhere in PvP.
I mean, honestly, 50% is so little for how much he does. Well, yes, you could give a 1 enemy diseased. I mean, debuff remover.
Yeah.
Can simply just.
I think because he's specifically a worse Chandler, I'm gonna put him in top of C.
Oh, I would agree with that.
Alright, everyone's favorite thick buffer. We got Yasuo.
I was about to say,
there's not really much to talk about. Not only does she grant invisibility, recovery, and just overall buffs attack and defense.
Attack and defense is a good combination for buffs.
She's got low cooldowns.
She's good everywhere.
And
I don't think there's a single thing she's bad in. I've seen a video of her soloing APEP on accident. That was very funny.
Accident?
Yeah, the person's team just got wiped just by bad.
The only thing I can see her having a little bit of problems in is Fafnir, as well as Shadowstream. Those are the only 2 places that I think she would need a little bit of help on.
She still dominates pretty well in the Dislyte lane because of the defense buff.
Well, yeah, Shadowfire and Shadowgale definitely perfect for her, but Shadowstream, I think like I said, just a tiny bit of help. Not too much, but a little bit.
You know, I think that she's not bad in anything. I think she goes up one.
Personally, I don't have enough data. I don't think we have enough data to really bring her down. I think she is.
She's so highly valued.
She's so highly valued in the community that I don't think she's gonna get any nerfs to her. To be honest,
I don't think there's any place she's bad.
No.
Yeah, and she's getting a nice skin. All right, Helena. One of the technically free characters you get. She's definitely interesting as a support. She definitely heals. She can dispel 1 buff from the enemy like Neff on her first attack. She has a chance to reduce AP on a single target by 30%, and she heals 1 ally by 30% and the rest of the team by 15%. And then if they're lower on health, she gains an increased healing, but then she gives crit rate.
Which is weird. Honestly, for a character like that, I don't think she needs crit rate.
Crit rate is definitely very interesting on a support that's focusing on healing and AP.
Honestly, instead of crit rate, I would have liked to see maybe recovery or just an extra bit of healing. Or defense.
Yeah.
That would have been better off.
Defense
but
would be
because,
a lot crazier.
But because it's crit rate, she's
It's
weird.
very weird because do you build her to be fast to get the crit rate on your team? Do you want her to focus more on healing?
Defensively, where do you want to go?
Yeah, definitely worse than Chengpu and Lauren for sure.
Yep.
All right. Moving on to a technical other free character, we have Fabrice. Now Fabrice has some good value. For sure. He's got a he can give one ally immunity, invincibility, and he can give team-wide immunity. He can insta-fish another ally for another turn and give them attacks. So you can fish up a DPS, or if need be, you fish up another support for some reason on your team. And with his just basic attack, he gives recovery. He's a free Esper with fusion, so he's very decent to get. You could easily max him out as a character if you need it. He's definitely got some strong values. He could, I could see him actually even being good in Desolate Lands for his second ability to just get more damage in if need be. And some Desolate Lands, the more turns you have, the less their debuffs last. So there's that as well.
That's fair.
PvP, he'll be good for the immunity, invincibility, mainly just the immunity. Same with Hollow Battle, that could definitely happen. I think, I'd put him in A.
I would definitely put him up a lot higher than a lot of the B tiers.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
We've got
Set.
probably one of the most interesting DPSs I think I've ever used. He
has really high value.
He's got high value.
He does good damage.
Not only is he a ritual, he's a nuker, he gets a ton of speed. He not only on crit gains extra speed, on corrosion, he's also reducing AP, giving speed down, and being able to stun and speed himself up just makes him kind of check all the boxes, just basically really anywhere. I don't really have. I know he struggles on points war but he super excels in hollow offense. On offensively and the hollow battles.
When it comes to point war, he's definitely more of a control. You should build him more for control, but his DPS is very good everywhere else.
Right. He definitely, I believe that he would be great in Desolate Lands.
Oh, yeah,
besides Shadowfire.
Yeah, he is.
But once again, he just lacks a little bit more in PvP, lacks a little bit in Fafnir. So
he's got
not all the way in SS.
He's got multi hits for Fafnir, and he's fast enough that he'll trigger them a lot on a 3-second cooldown. But yeah, let's say S. He's got a little bit of weakness, but that's a good thing. Hermes. There's just a lot of characters that do his job better.
Enough said.
I mean, he can steal one buff, and for each buff he steals, he gains 30 AP, which is good, but it's only one buff, so it's kind of random what you get.
I mean, accuracy debuff as well.
Oh yeah, the miss rate on his one is okay.
I mean, but with the cleanse, like you said earlier, his job is easily done better by a lot of
his identity is his identity as a character is very weird because he has miss rate, so he wants to attack characters that rely on accuracy. He has his second hit is a stun that also steals AP and spreads it among, so do you want him to be an AP booster on the team? Do you want him to be some type of DPS like Chloe that also has him stealing buffs and giving him AP for each buff, if he even steals them? Maybe he's just underrated because a lot of people like Chloe more.
Honestly,
or Chloe has more value because of multi-hits, but I think he's at least better than David.
He's definitely better than David. I would say borderline CD, but definitely in C.
Yeah. It's just his identity's a little mixed up in the air.
Got Chang'e next.
Yep. Next we have Chang'e, who just immediately
Very
goes
popular.
into S.
Immediately goes to S. Immediately. Only places I think that she would really struggle in, and it's only really one spot, is Desolate Lands, because other people can do her job a little bit better.
Yeah, she can't dispel
and
the
Chronos.
boss debuffs.
And Chronos. I think those are the only areas that she really struggles on, where she's easily beaten or easily switched out for.
She's still very strong there.
She's still very strong. She's stronger than definitely a lot of the people in A. I don't know how strong she is compared to everybody in S, but she's definitely not strong.
She's one of the better healers and supports in the game, specifically because she dispels all debuffs and then heals.
Yep.
There's not much else to say.
Chloe.
Huh?
Time for Chloe. Maida.
So we're on Afro.
Oh. I'm ahead. I want to get to Chloe so bad.
You're one ahead. So
Yep.
yeah, we are on Aphrodite.
Aphrodite.
So Aphrodite is just a big, thick tank that has very... I didn't even know her first attack gave miss rate. That's interesting. I didn't even know that. I've never seen
He's definitely... I mean, if you haven't seen it, you probably haven't triggered it, so...
I guess I just kill her fast enough in cube. No, but Aphrodite is interesting because she has a lot of focus on like reflect damage with her kisses.
Yeah.
Because she can reflect up to 75% of the damage back. And then, you know, she redistributes health, so her second ability is like Sally, except instead of giving attack buff to the whole team, she only buffs the person with the kiss on them. And then distributes the damage, so it's definitely more interesting. I think she suffers from only having the kiss on one character, but if she could put the kiss on all characters, she would be the most broken and annoying character in the game.
Well, even if it was just a 3, I think she'd be in a better spot.
Even if it was to 3, that'd be giving 3 characters 60% damage reduction. Or no, not 60% damage reduction. Reflecting 60% of damage as true damage. Or wait, why are those different numbers? Why does it say 75 and this one says 60?
I'm not sure.
Interesting. But you're reflecting a lot of damage back as true damage, which could be very brutal even on 3 characters. So,
well, I think if they increased it to 3 players, they would obviously have to tone down. They'd probably have to remove true damage for percentage of attack or something like that.
Well, that wouldn't make it any better. That'd make it worse. I think she's just in a weird spot where like
she really can't get any changes because it'll make her absolutely worse, but she can't get any buffs because she'll be super good.
And we're not gonna put her in D because she's hot, but you know. All right, now we have Chloe.
I mean, she's definitely...
Chloe has a lot of high value within the community, that's for sure.
She's definitely got popularity. She just wrecks in any sort of PvP. Specifically, Hollow Battle offense.
I think in Hollow Battle, she has a better chance to wreck than in actual PvP, and that is...
right.
Chloe does a lot of damage, and I understand her value for stealing buffs. She's definitely good in some rituals because of single target, like Fafnir, because of multi-hit. She's good in Desolate Land because there's only one target, except for Shadowfire because there's like 50 million targets.
I was about to say.
But you're not stealing any buffs in Desolate Land. In regular Point War, I feel like her damage is strong, but her ability to be consistent
I was about to say consistency is very hard.
Is a little rough, and I think she's very overrated, personally.
Yes,
but I will
personally. I see her as an A.
I'll put I would honestly for like how inconsistent she can be, because like Just for how consistent she can be, I'd put her in B personally, but because of her value within the community, I'll put her in A. Because I would rather use Set over Chloe.
Well, yeah. Personally, I would even put Set and Chloe together.
Oh yeah, I mean, I see them used a lot together, for sure. But personally, from one or the other, I would rather build up Set than Chloe.
That's fair.
Especially for PvP, because you know what Set's gonna do with Chloe. It's like, oh boy, I hope they steal that immunity. Oh, I stole their 3 shields and their attack. Alright, fuck.
Yep,
you know,
and you're just dead.
And now you have extra health, yes, but now Chloe's whole thing of stealing buffs randomly is,
yeah.
Not useful for another 4 turns.
Even if you put Uki on the team, it's still 3 turns.
Why do you say
to redo
Uki?
it?
It's Unky.
Because that's what I used to call him, because I didn't care what it...
Alright, so next we have Luoyan.
That sounds about right.
So he... I've only seen him... I've seen him a little bit in Arena, in the Point Wars, but... I mean, outside of that, it's mostly in PvE. He is a support. He heals the ally with the lowest HP equal to his damage. He does have a revive / death save standoff type of deal with his death tome, where if you kill them, they revive and heal for 30%. It's only single target, but that could definitely matter. And like Hades, he does have a enemy max HP reduction that is just AoE, and he can inflict disease. Now, I would say he is underrated. He's underrated in a way because there's just a character that does what he does but just as a TPS, which is the enemy reduction. But he also takes a hit because Geb exists.
Yeah, I was about to say Geb is like...
Geb just is the hard counter to this guy and one other character later on. But with how little I see of him in PvP, and he doesn't have a ton of use in rituals, maybe in Dislyte Land I can see him having a use because of his revive, but I haven't seen it, so I'm gonna put him in C.
I agree.
Alright, next we got Jacob.
Jormungandr.
This guy is the best character to put in APEP.
Yep.
It's
just hands down.
It makes the whole team immune to poison, is basically the main thing for it. You can even use them in other rituals because they have AoEs. Like Chronos could be a hit with poison 4 different ways to Sunday. Fafnir probably less because he gets immunity from his little obelisks. I see a little use of him in PvP, but like not a ton. It's mostly in PvE I see him. He does have an AoE petrification, but that's if they're already afflicted with poison. I say he's a...
There's just too much
land,
setup.
he doesn't do anything because of poison, but I think in everything else, I think he's like a low B.
I was about to say low B, closer to C. He just needs some setup. He just needs a lot of setup than a lot of characters in B need.
But also,
he's
poison
not
doesn't affect other things.
Right. He's got enough in his kit to be fine by himself, but he does need a little bit less help than people in C tier.
His best friend is Circuit.
Yep.
All right, Mimir. Mimir's very strong. Absolutely.
He's probably Mimir.
He's definitely
high up there, but definitely has some flaws.
So Mimir is good everywhere but rituals and Dislyte Land.
Dislyte Land.
Because if he inflicts stun pretty much, or they can't take an action when they're hit, it increases ability cooldowns. And lo and behold, look what he does. He can hit an enemy 3 times and try to inflict stun. He's an ability controller. He can also steal AP, he can inflict stun, which will reduce their cooldown. He's very strong everywhere, but like Dislyte Lands. He also in Hollow Battle is he's an amazing lead in Hollow Battle at 25%.
25% as a lead is pretty bad, pretty nuts.
He's better than Bonnie.
I would agree with that.
Especially because his viability is easier, because he's not a shimmer.
Yep.
Alrighty. White Tiger.
Definitely.
She is
is
definitely
interesting.
early on was considered a top, like the best DPS in the game, or like one of the best DPSs in the game. She's definitely strong. I'm not gonna front on that. She's definitely like up high. She is a defense breaker that also inflicts slow. She has guaranteed crits for 3 turns, which can easily be reset because her 3 is on a 3-second or 3-turn cooldown. She can apply like 4 stacks of 2 bleed. And she has a little bit of AP control when she crits. Now,
Personally, I see a little bit of hit in just hollow battles and regular PvP as a whole.
nah, she's good there.
I mean, she's good.
Her only weakness
but
is Desolate Land, I think, kinda, because she can't break defense, she can't bleed. I just know people's strategies with her are weird. The Hades Revenge set is definitely very odd for her.
she's definitely
For the most popular among them, I definitely think Hades' sword is not good. I would rather have her do as much crit damage as possible because she gets guaranteed crits.
rather have her be a glass cannon than to
this weird semi-tank.
just be weird.
Yeah, but she's definitely strong. I'm not gonna fault her for that. She's not overrated like Chloe. She's pretty consistent.
Yep.
All right, next we have Barden, who will probably immediately go down to like C or D.
D.
Barden's just a really annoying PvE character because he counters anytime you hit an ally below 50% health. He's annoying as fuck.
Yep. And personally, that's the only use for him, because he's a defensive DPS. He's a defensive
DPS slash like tank. He's good on a defensive DPS team, that's for sure. But those aren't.
But I would put him on the same tier as Dozier, probably switchable between the two, just because they're both defensive DPSs.
Yeah, and defensive DPS isn't really a thing right now, especially because you could debuff defense pretty easy. I mean, you can debuff attack, but attack's only 40%, defense is 60%. All right, next we have Longman.
Oh boy.
Longman's good.
Yes.
You can't fault him. Speed lead, controller, inflicts a lot of speed down, AP control. I mean,
Just ask right away. I have nothing else to say. You kind of just summed it all up.
I mean, he is a PvP hollow battle god. He also works in cube and tower if you need some control. He's definitely a better controller than Jean, I would say. Because he hits all, Jean only hits 3. Same with, Medusa hits all, but they have to have like AP restriction. Ymir and him are easily screwed with immunity, but with him having an unconditional speed lead, it's better than Mimir's speed lead, which is only in hollow battle. Which is why I would value him more than Mimir. And
Definitely.
I've had him since like day one I started playing, and I mean it's not even a competition who's the better one. Alright, next we have Hel, or Catherine. Catherine is very strong in the Desolate Lands. She didn't have a ton of value before then, kind of like the Queen Mother, but because of her ability for standoff, increasing AP, and just like it's basically being able to do standoff and increasing AP that makes her very decent in Desolate Lands. And just standoff alone, being able to survive a hit and do more damage is just very strong. Outside of that, maybe some PvP shenanigans, maybe some hollow battle shenanigans, but
I just don't see her. There's too much risk, and I think putting her in PvP.
We'll put her right next to the Queen Mother, since they both got their boost from Desolate Lands, pretty much.
Yeah.
Alright, the Great Tortoise.
Yep.
This guy's annoying. Just as a PvE character.
Just as a tank is yeah.
It's just another. I think he has higher value than the other two defensive characters in D tier.
Yes.
Because he has taunting, his passive makes him do.
Life Giver, basically standoff for 1 turn, resetting cooldowns for his ultimate.
And then when he's in standoff, he can counter.
Just
So
not only that, if he's lead, is 24% extra defense.
I mean, there's other characters that do better than it, but like just the ability to stand off, break defense, and be annoying. And he heals.
Big hit for him is defensive down. Defensive down is his biggest weakness.
Oh, of course. I mean, I have a plan if I ever build this guy to build an ocean set to try to get the passive and the
I was about to say, yep.
faster.
Yep.
I think he is better than the other two defensive DPS / tanks in C tier.
But he's definitely hard countered by defensive down.
And
which
any
puts him back
type
down
of
to
and with the lack of immunity, if you if you like CC him with like a freeze, a petrify, a stun, anything like that, when he's on standoff, his passive just is useless.
Yep.
All right, we're gonna hit the first of the 2 free, technically, 5-star DPSs with Naja. Now, personally, I see a Naja in PvP, and he does 0 damage.
Yeah, I was about to say. You definitely
Maybe
have to.
maybe if I were to get one and put the set I have on my Wukong on him, if he does more damage, then sure. But every Naja I see, like, he does like a third of my health, and it's like, all right, cool. Hi, I'm Wukong.
He's definitely dropped in popularity for sure. Just a steady decline.
I think with the Wukong, the Wukong buffs also helped.
I mean, it's hard because you want to put him in S just because of the overall damage that he can do in PvE, but honestly, I don't even see him in A because of just he's basically only PvE.
Like,
I see a little bit of use in Desolate, but that's it.
Like, the 2 comparisons here are between him and Wukong, because they're both the 2 free espers
Right.
in the game. Right, they're the 2 free 5-stars you can get if you do your first multi. So comparing the 2, early on, I would say Naja was better. But, like, with Naja now, I feel like you need to run full DPS because Wukong does the bulk build way better.
Yep.
Wukong's spread damage is way better. Wukong's healing is better because he also gives himself a shield. Wukong also can apply defensive down and disease as well on his 3rd ability and and for 2 turns after due to his passive markings that he has. And I just don't think anymore the true damage is good enough.
Personally, I see Naja as more of like an XP farmer. To be completely honest, if you want to go ahead and boost people up,
but even at that, like
even at that, you're really losing a lot doing
like
that.
Yeah, he has a heal, which is good, and you can run a Hades set. But if you run him bulk, you're really missing out on a lot of the damage that he can do, especially with the true damage. And yeah, he steals a little AP, but I don't think it's enough.
Right.
I'd say he's still good, but I
think he's still B. But
I just think there's another character that's better. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah.
Alright. Raw. Raw is interesting, I'll say for sure. I know
his
his
passive is kind of nuts.
I know he can do a ton of damage if he gets his stacks up and stuff.
I mean, that's 56% is 56 increased damage overall.
He ignores defense, and he reduces the ability's cooldown by 1 turn. He also buffs himself with attack for 2 turns with his 1. I would say, honestly, he's better. I would say he's better than Nacho.
I would agree too. Not only is he getting 7% extra damage on his Wheel of Fate passive, he's also getting another 7% on his Emblazoned Strike.
Yeah, his 3rd
so
skill.
That's 102%. But like you said, 5 or more stacks, and he's ignoring 40% of the enemy's defense.
Yeah.
And then if it's at 8, he's reducing all of his cooldowns, which he'll be able to start again.
His only weakness is that he needs some time to build up, but if you run him like Revenge set, he has a chance to build up faster. Yeah. Like, I feel like if I were to ever go, I'd build him Astral Revenge, so he has the best chance to just get as much of the buff as possible.
I agree with that.
But over Nausea, I would just... I don't know, a lot of people would probably hate for this, because like, oh, I've had Nausea forever. It's like, hey, this is just an opinion. If you like Nausea better, go for it. Use the characters you want.
I mean, personally, I still use Nausea, and like I said, I would love to put Nausea in A or higher, but I just don't see the value side of maybe early mid.
Yeah.
Because he is easily beaten by Sun Wukong, even by Ra, by a lot of the people that are
Chloe.
in even ST and Set as well.
Set, Chloe. Drew is even technically on the same level because though only multi-hit up to 3, he can do a lot of damage.
Right.
You know.
Like, he's definitely not a C character. He's definitely better than every single person below C.
Yeah.
Or even below B. But he's just overshadowed and overpopular.
Yeah. Alright, next we have Odin. Odin's really strong.
Oh boy,
people
yeah,
after the patch are gonna see Odin use skyrocket because she's she's one of the only 5 espers in the one of the only 5 legendary espers in the pity system. That's gonna be implemented. It's gonna be her, Loki, Sally, and Lewis. Yeah. So if you ever do a pity system and you see a Shimmer 5-star, you know it's gonna be Odin.
Guaranteed.
But Odin's good. Odin can be good as a DPS. Odin can be good as a Dispeller, a defensive breaker.
You definitely can build Raven in so many different ways that she can be utilized basically on most comms, or actually, yeah, most comms. She does have some weaknesses. Just depending on how you build her, but I think that's the way the character was meant to be. You can either build her this way, you can build her this way, or you can build her this way, but you're going to have weaknesses, trade-offs that are either going to make or break your character.
And compared to buff dispellers, I would say Lucas is better.
Yes.
He has a little more control. Yeah, you could dispel buff breaker, you know, which is, you know, fine. She also has a little bit of max HP reduction, but it's not as crazy as the other 2 characters. And, you know, Inflicting Seer is fine. She can steal buffs if she doesn't cleanse them. But I think Lucas just does the job better.
Agreed.
Next we got Loki, who recently got a buff to have his Dispel actually be good. I would say Loki is on the same level now, or slightly less than Odin.
I would agree with that statement.
Because like Odin does have defensive break on her Dispel Cleave, which means immunity doesn't matter. Loki has miss rate. I would rather break defense than imply miss rate, but Loki's passive, really chunking down on Dispellers, is really good. Because like you run into a Sally and suddenly they're down 30% of their health and they go from 50k to like 30k HP during the match. Same with like Chungas and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I guess he's done, but you know. But as a debuffer, you're very strong right now. I would just value a defense break than a miss hit rate. Alright, next we have Gabrielle. Probably the best free-to-play character in the game. It's not even a competition.
It's not a competition.
Like,
I mean, there's not much to say. I know
Lucas is up there as technically free-to-play as well.
Like, but it's a technicality.
you can easily acquire Gabrielle. You can get Gabrielle easier than Lucas, but she's definitely up there. I mean, this
she
character
just rules. She just rules the field.
This character
Now,
does so much. She has immunity. She gives immunity. She gives defense. She inflicts attack down, all in the same ability. She's a defense breaker as well. You'd be surprised how decent her damage is on her too because of the extra speed scaling. If you want to make a bulky team, she has HP up. Her cooldowns are pretty decent at 4 and 3. You could run her Oceans. People run her with Zeus. Most people run her with the speed because you want that ability to just say, fuck no, I don't want these buffs, these debuffs, thank you.
Yeah, I think she works overall with all teams.
Oh yeah.
I think a portion that she's going to struggle with is Shadow Stream, just a little bit, just minuscule. She'll need a little bit help with in Shadow Stream, but other than that, even her late game presence is pretty good.
Oh yeah, I mean, she's definitely one of the best characters in the game. Alright, next we have Hades. The Chrono soloer himself.
Yep.
We have Hades. Now, a really gross built Hades is definitely a problem, but there are so many times in PvP where I just burst him down so quick before everything else is passive is just useless.
It does take time for him to build.
Even with a fully built passive, I am not that scared of a Hades in PvP.
No.
The only time I'm scared of him is when I accidentally bring the wrong character, like I did 1 week for Hollow Battle. But that's just unfortunate.
Yep.
And you know, he solos Kronos. I don't know if he solos Apep.
I think he needs a little help with Apep, but he's dang well close.
And then he can't do Kronos. Probably I don't know if he can do Miracles, but he's used a lot in PvP. I haven't seen him at all in Desolate Lands, or I have and I just have missed it. Maybe it's like a worldwide thing, but you know, he's good. He's good, yes.
Yep.
He's good.
Sally is great. Can we just put her in SS and be done? Personally, she only really struggles on Shadow Stream and some of the late game stuff.
No, she doesn't.
But overall,
she definitely doesn't struggle in there. I would definitely put Sally in SS, honestly.
She's great in PvP. She's great in regular PvP. I have to emphasize that.
I run her everywhere.
She is the best.
Grants immunity, dispel HP redistribution, gives attack up, and then 25% damage reduction across the whole team.
She is the best healer. She is the best.
I think she's in competition for the best healer.
That's definitely for sure.
Because a lot of people value one other character more than her.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. But Ode to Joy is such a good ability. 25% reduced damage taken is so big. On top of healing for 26% of their max health, and they dispel a buff from them. Now, if the other team has a Loki, she'll get eaten alive with Sweet Harvest up. That's
for sure. That's
but
guaranteed.
You just don't hit Sweet Harvest against the Loki. Wow!
That's like should be the strat for every single person.
But yeah, Sally is extremely strong as a healer in the game. I'm glad I got her early. It was very lucky to have her for sure. Alright, free character number 7. Artemis. Mona. Now
She definitely falls later in game because a lot of people can do her AoE damage a lot better, and with other certain buffs and debuffs as well.
She cannot go and see.
She definitely can.
But that is only because she gained a ton of use and value in Shadowfire.
She definitely does.
Artemis is good. There are obviously DPS who can do her job better, but she has good AoE damage. She has a better AP steal than Naja, I think, and she has the ability to give herself other turns if she kills. So she is a PvE farming god. Like, she's very good at PvE farming and like practice events. If you keep her alive with like a Hades set or something, with maybe like Revenge or like, you know, even an Astral set could work because she could proc Moonshot multiple times. But her value after Shadowfire came up skyrocketed, and there's no way she can go any lower than B on the list.
Nope.
And speaking of Shadowfire and Artemis's best friend in Shadowfire, we have Jiangman, who, just like Artemis, got the same amount of stronger value because of Shadowfire. Because of Netherbloom being able to hit all those little dudes in Shadowfire, and Artemis being able to explode them instantly. It's a pretty easy clear for that part of that fight. And once I actually focus on the late game in the game, she will be built up with Artemis for sure.
Yep.
Even in PvP, the combo of Artemis and Jiangman could also work pretty well because of the easy 5 hits and the easy explosion that caused the silence and the poison from the character. It could still easily happen. It's just in the late game for Shadowfire, it's valued more because there is just so many little dudes for that fight. So before Shadowfire, these characters were easily down in maybe C, but because of the value of the late game that they were going to bring, they easily move up to a nice and balanced B tier.
Yep.
All right, Celine.
Probably one of the first 4 stars that I was able to obtain. I think early she's great with sleep. Sleep is definitely hit or miss. Sleep can be great to just kind of like maybe heal everybody up. But if you don't get everybody with sleep, because it is not 100% to start with for sleep, unless I'm wrong. But think about it. Sleep could be a good thing or a bad thing.
Sleep is definitely the weaker of the control statuses because if you hit somebody, they wake up.
Right.
But she does have some decent value in... I've seen some people use her in the Dislyte lands because of the speed and defensive boost.
Yes.
And the dispels that she has. And with Sleep, I would say I say like bottom of A.
Bottom A for sure.
Because she also reduces AP as well on the targets, and her buff is very strong, being able to dispel, increase speed and defense. And I definitely see not as good as Mimir, which is why she's at the bottom of it, and definitely not as good as Longman for a controller character.
Yep.
My girl Serket.
Serket
is a Sonic and Ritual Miracle killer with a poison team. She could have some very weird value in PvP if you build her to be crazy fast. I was about
to say she loses a lot of value in PvP unless you build her correctly, but I think she gets a little bit more extra value because of Shadow Flame and the Dislyte land.
No, she sucks.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah, she can't poison.
Oh, that's right.
You can't poison in there.
That sucks. Yeah, well, that really just drops her value down a lot.
I mean, she can, like I said, she can have use in PvP if you focus her to be really quick for the speed down, because that will make a difference. But mostly she's a PvE killer, because with most events there's a lot of health, and with poison you can just trickle that down pretty easy. I use the combination of her and Layla pretty frequently in some events because of her ability to just stack a massive amount of poison on stuff.
That sounds about right.
Alright. Next we have Freya, or Era.
So I have not played her. I've never seen her, so this is all you.
She's an interesting character. I have seen her used a little bit in the Desolate Lands, just a little bit, because it reduces. She dispels buffs. She reduces ability cooldowns. She gives AP with her second ability. Her third ability is on the same level as Cirquette in a way, because it does do a speed down, but she also has a chance to reduce AP as well. And the second ability also resets the third ability resets the cooldown of the second ability. So giving more turns and abilities is very good as a cooldown rotator. I wouldn't say it's on the same level as Unki Chai because it's only single target.
Yep.
So I would put her probably bottom A.
Yep.
Because if Unki Chai is an A because of his ability to reset cooldowns and him being able to be in Desolate Lands because of that, Freya is definitely on there for the same exact reasons, just to a lesser extent.
Yep.
Alrighty, next we have Falcon, or Horus. This guy's not good right now.
No, he's...
With immunity running rampant, cleansing running rampant, he does not easily get his Eye of Horus off to do a lot of damage on people. He's great early. Early in the game, Horus is a very good character because people don't have the resources to cleanse and or counter his gimmick. But when you get those resources, his viability falls
out
off
the
pretty
window.
hard. Maybe he'll be decent in Shadowfire. Maybe, but I haven't seen it. I'd be willing to try it once I get to that point because he does work as a tank. He has the chance to do his AoE multiple times in a turn. For now, I think he's just gonna sit D.
Personally, D tier.
Yeah, with immunity.
Well, there's definitely some potential for him to go into C and to B, potential, but I don't know if it's enough to get him out of D tier off of a.
I think maybe if somebody releases a video of him being good on Shadowfire and people are like, whoa, and maybe it spikes right there, but we'll have to see.
Right.
Next we got the boy Loyi. Loyi is very good. Loyi is very ridiculous. His best match is Fafnir, but he's also good in other rituals along with Sonic. He's decent. He's okay in PvP. He's better in Hollow Battle than actual.
I was about to say Hollow Battle is.
He's good in Hollow Battle compared to Point War. He's very good in Desolate Land because there's a single target to smack, and with his chance to have his attacks do true damage, and it goes from 15 to 30% chance if he lands a crit. He does a lot of damage, especially with 9 hits being able to possibly do true damage with a 60% chance to bleed. He is a very strong.
Oh yes.
He's a very strong 4-star DPS character and will easily sit in A tier. Because I think Hades is better, and I think Taegyeon is better. Oh boy, we made it! The only character I thought would be an F tier. We got Lewis.
Yeah.
He recently got buffed, and it changed nothing.
Nothing.
It changed nothing. They made his 3 do damage based off the enemy's missing health, when it's like, alright. I mean, it gives himself crit rate, which is good. And you want him to build crit damage, but it's the fact that his 260 scaling is good. Each 10% of the enemy's max HP lost increases damage by 4%, right? But if they're at 100%, you're only getting this 260. It's and that's it.
And it's not just 260 to one target, it's total
263 times to one target. And You would think with that, he does a lot of damage, but he doesn't. He just doesn't. I don't see him run anywhere, and if I see him on a PvP team, I just don't touch him. Because he doesn't do anything. He does stuff later on in a fight. Because if the health is lower, but with how abundant healing is, defense is, immunity is, it's hard for him to do anything single target. And there are characters that do single target better, like Sanders.
Also,
Sanders can do his job better. Chloe can technically be a better DPS than him. Drew can be a better DPS than him for single target, right?
yeah, for single target.
I would even rely on Dozer or Great Tortoise instead for single target. He's just, I think they just need to remake him.
Personally,
Or do something with this scaling. Screw it, give him true damage.
Try to give him more value, because Ares is supposed to be this. Give his 2 crit rate and crit damage up, right? I was about to say,
and then make this, what, like 5% true damage per 10% enemy's max HP. Easy.
Yeah,
man, it's chunking. But for now, he sits in F alongside Liao.
I think those are the only 2.
I think so. Yeah. Next is Cecilia, and oh boy, what a strong character.
Clears team-wide debuffs, grants immunity
for 1 turn, heals for 35%
HP recovery,
restores own HP with 100% damage dealt on 1, and then revives the whole team if they are dead, and if not, she gives them a shield equal to 50%.
And they also get 50% AP.
And her death, she's an AP booster. Like, maybe like,
I was about to say, there's definitely
her immunity being 1 turn is a little bit of a bummer. But
I was about to say,
but did you guys play that Esper feud with 2 of them? That shit was annoying. Holy crap! That was so annoying.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah, can you imagine 2 of them?
Yeah,
I had to pull out ye old Hercules to be able to deal with that crap.
That
was annoying. All right, free character number 8. Technically, we have, where is she? Dahlia. Calypso, Dahlia. She's definitely up in just S. Like
I was about to say S.
She's not as good as Yusui, personally.
No.
But as a supportive, AP boosting, crit rate attack booster, she is definitely the character you want if you are trying to cleave. She also has decent control, being able to freeze and slow, along with stunning on some of her other abilities, but Dahlia's main value is her 3rd skill. And with her being free through Ripple Dimensions, she's pretty easy to get, and you see her quite a lot. If she just had attack, I think she'd still be good, but not as good.
No.
But Dahlia, because of just her S3, we have... she's very strong in value because of that.
High for first for healers.
Next we have Hera. I think Hera is overvalued.
I definitely believe so as well.
Hera is extremely overvalued. There are so many times I'll hop on a Point Wars and I'll see a Clara and it's like, okay, cool, I'll kill the rest of your team.
Because without the rest of her team, she's not good.
Yeah, no. Not at all. But she does have strong. She is getting changes in the next patch. She is getting nerfed in a way that I think does reduce her value. But right now, I mean, with the community overall, I really think Clara is overvalued.
Honestly, just by looking at her abilities, she can be easily countered as well. While yes, she does get immunity for 1 extra turn if her target doesn't have any debuffs, but in a heavy debuff meta, or buff and debuff meta, that can be immunity is going to be very hard to get. She's for instance, yeah, she's SS for now, but I guarantee you she's dropping after patch.
I would because the thing is, all that the patch is changing is one of her dispels on her passive. When she hits a target with the Queen's Blessing, pretty much, one of these dispels is going to her third, along with the immunity.
Right.
So her value is definitely going to go down. I personally, overall, think she's an S character.
I would honestly put her there.
I would put her in S personally, because every time I've run into a Clara, I've just easily been able to work around her passive, being able to hit a different character down just below enough percentage to abuse her passive to heal that character so I can kill another. I never go for her first. She's always the last on the team I kill because she can't do anything by herself. And her having immunity doesn't really affect me smacking her a ton. But she has so much value. Maybe because I haven't used her in other areas of the game, I don't quite understand it. But
that's fair.
Versus her in PvP, I really don't see her as a threat, at all. I can understand her values, being able to heal and boost AP, being able to give immunity, giving health to the lowest, ally based on their max HP, and with the community like her and overall, she'll stay in SS, but personally, I think she could go lower. Alright, next we got Taylor. Hercules. Yeah, I literally built this guy up and put on a basic attack set to beat that feud.
I was about to say, I think that's the best way to do it.
No, so I saw someone do it with Mimir and reducing their passive cooldown
before
killing them all, and I was like, that's a good idea too, but I didn't want to build up Mimir because I already had this guy at 40.
Right.
So with Hercules is interesting. He's one of the few characters that fights revive characters, so Hercules is technically a counter to Lauren or a counter to Cecilia, but they're rarely used as is. Cecilia mainly because she is a shimmer, but Lauren because she is a single target healer.
Yeah,
but it's still good cause revive. That Hercules doesn't really see a ton of use outside of that, but because of his ability to counter those characters, and if you see them you would want to bring him to possibly kill, and his damage outside of that is still very high. Outside of him countering revive, I'd still put him at B.
I would say that. That's
it gives him crit up and attack up, and then deals 200% attack plus 30% of true damage. Dispels all buffs, and if he kills, the abilities reset. So he's good, but I feel like eventually we will get a revive meta where this man is going to be everywhere, or needed to be everywhere,
right?
Depending on how power creep goes, because it's a gotcha, and power creep is about to happen.
Yep.
All right. Next we have, where's Kaylee? Kaylee, where are you? There you are. There's Kaylee. So Kaylee is just a worse long main, for sure.
I was about to say.
She gives herself crit up, which is, I guess, okay. She gives herself crit up upon a crit, so that's cool. But
while she can freeze, speed down, reduce
I will
AP.
say, if she had speed up instead of long main, she'd be better.
Yeah, I think she would be way better.
Because her chances to freeze and slow proc on every hit, along with her also reducing AP. So, Longbane has 1 hit to freeze. She has 3 hits to freeze. So if she had to speed seed with a Longmane, she'd be seen everywhere. But because she doesn't, she has a crit rate one. She's still a good controller. You can still build it really fast to be a strong controller. It's just Longmane with his speed boost as a leader just makes him a little better. But she's still good.
Yep.
Alright, my girl. Here we go. Gaia. Yeah!
Yeah, just straight up. You don't need to really say much about it. She's good everywhere.
Yeah, I would say she's good everywhere.
Personally, you pair her up with Ty, you pair her up with Dahlia, you pair her up with Chloe. She's unstoppable.
I mean, well, the thing is, she sets them up for that. Guy, you
Right.
want to build fast. Guy's third ability reduces AP down to 0. Literally 0. And it has a chance to stun, so they will sit stunned at the bottom of the turn order. She has one of the best buffs in the game, giving attack and speed up, meaning that, you do damage faster. And on top of that, she can reduce her own, she can increase her own AP drastically, because it says grants AP to Gaia and one ally. Guess what? This can be 2 Gaia and 2 Gaia. So she can give herself 30% AP within a turn.
Yep.
She's best to go fast, she's fast to be quick. Her turn availability is very strong. And I don't know a single place where I would call her bad. Maybe Shadowfire, but that's about it, and she's weak in there.
Yep.
Alright.
The other pole brother.
The other free 5-star pole, the other pole brother, the other free 5-star that you have a chance to get with your first summon. Now, like we said earlier, before Wukong's buffs, he was easily worse than Naja. But I was still valuing him higher. But now, I mean, I don't think it's even a competition.
It's not a competition anymore.
Because with his second ability, the splash damage went from 50% to 80%, which is huge. There are so many times now where I sit there in Hollow Battle, maybe, and then, all 3 of them survive like a hit, and I'm like, alright, that's fine. They survived the AoE, I made another turnaround, and I hit this, and they all die. And I'm like, oh, alright, the buff. Because with a good crit, like, yeah, this is doing like 20k, and then to them, this is doing like 18k.
Yeah.
Like a team doesn't survive that.
No. They don't.
He gives himself. His AoE is good, even only at 60% a hit. That's still 120 overall, along with giving himself the chance to defense down, to disease. He also inflicts true damage to 5% of the target's managed HP up to 50%. So he does true damage like Naja. Just not as high.
Not only that, his cooldowns are low.
Oh,
when
yes,
you
his
get him all the
cooldowns
way
are
up.
so low.
Not only that, he's got exclusive skill effects like Scorch, Death, and Shackle.
Oh yeah,
put on top of that.
Yeah, they increase. That's how
disease
he gets,
for 2 turns.
That's how he gets disease and defense down, is because of his because of these. Scorch makes him effective sense.
Personally, I think
He
he's
inflicts-
definitely A, but he's definitely, I think he's bordering
I would
at
say
this
he's
point up higher.
I would say he's a high A because he doesn't do the tanky bruisery job that Hades
Like
does.
Hades does.
He does it way better than Naja for sure because of the splash. Naja has one AoE move. Wukong technically has an AoE move every turn, if he wanted to.
Honestly, I think.
And then on top of
Wukong-
that, he can give himself a shield based on his enhancements. And those enhancements also increase the damage that this move does. This thing hits. 200% scaling on this. I've seen this easily do 55k. With the build I have.
honestly, I see him moving up to S after patch.
Well, I mean... Wait, what do you mean after patch?
I think after patch, we're gonna see Sun Wukong get a little bit more bump in popularity.
Really? Why?
Personally, I have a hard time remembering all the stuff from it, but like you said before, I said that he's teetering on an A. While I think Hades is 100 times better, because he just has inherent buffs to himself,
Hades also has an extra life, so...
and not only the extra life, but I feel that Sun Wukong could potentially move up, but he's definitely going to be on the lower side of S.
Like, if you want an
just
annoying, bulky Hades Revenge Bruiser and you don't have Hades, like, just build Wukong that way.
Right,
Like, I'm personally building him towards Astral so he can just splash more.
right. And I think if you build more along the lines of AoE damage instead of more of a bruiser,
He still does good. He still does good damage.
right?
And I think his damage is better than Najo's now.
And I think his captain's ability with 30% attack will
I mean,
work with a lot of...
That's the same as Najo's. So there's not really...
Right, but at the same time, while they might have the same captain ability, they utilize it both differently.
True. Alright. So next we have Trevor. So Trevor was also recently buffed in the way all of his stuff works, pretty much. And the only time I've seen him is in PvP with some recent Esper feuds to see him work. And I get what they're trying to do with him. He's trying to be a decent high damage single target DPS that can attack with a skill twice in a turn.
But then why wouldn't I use Drew? If that was the case.
Well, what did they change with him? If the target HP is above 50%, he casts the same ability again. If not, he gives himself crit rate. And, yeah. Like, it's hard to say with him because I don't use him. I haven't really seen him at all in PvP either. With high single target damage, I can see him being good in Sonic and Ritual. I can maybe even see him gaining value in the Desolate Lands, because on top of Seer, he's not going to be inflicting Neko's Curse, but if he doesn't inflict Neko's Curse, then he gets buffs because of it. I want to put him in Be Like Donor, because I don't think I can see the value that he can have now with the changes to his kit that he desperately needed. Otherwise, he'd be down here without the changes. But I think the changes are enough that more is needed to be seen about him. But I can
before he moves him back down.
I don't think I think maybe Hollow Battle because there's less targets, but definitely not like Point War. But I can definitely see in Desolate Land, not Shadowfire, but like I can definitely see him having some value. All right, now we got the twins. They really are trying to make these two work. These two will probably end up in the same tier because they work off each other.
Well, we might as well just talk about them both together then. I mean, one gives crit rate, while the other one ends up giving speed.
One inflicts
usually
speed on multiple hits and does multiple hits when the other one is present.
Honestly, I see them both working together in Chronos and Fafnir.
As a Fafnir duo, they'll be great. I think once this new buff patch comes, where if they're together on a team, their third skill will proc off each other. Their ability to multi-hit and pursue each other is going to be very strong for sure. Yeah, especially because they multi-hit a ton. They really want these two to work. I don't think it'll be in PvP. I think they'll work best in PvE. And also, if they get buffed enough, I can definitely see Desolate Lands.
I definitely believe that they both are in B, though.
But I think until we see the new buff, I think I'm just gonna put them in C.
See?
Yeah.
Honestly, I would end up putting... Yeah, I was thinking about putting Chuyi in B, but then I realized she kind of needs her twin sister's help, so...
They're both brothers.
Or brothers, whatever. Looks can be deceiving.
You're getting baited. Alrighty. Next on the list we have... where's Ollie? Is he down here?
Ollie.
Next we have Ollie and Osiris. Ollie is instantly very good because he's a speed lead.
Definitely.
I would definitely value him about the same as Longmane as a speed lead. Because, though he is a fighter, he has a lot of control in his kit with a taunt, being invincible from that, being able to silence. The, basically revive is very good as well. The best way to counter this is if they have like buff blocker on them, he can't apply the recovery or the invincibility on them at all. But Ollie I've seen a little use of him in Desolate Lands as well, but he is a PvP Hollow Battle god pretty much, because of
Because
his ability to slight control and basically his passive. Which, if you run him Oceans, 5 cooldown is not that much if you get lucky enough. Depending on how long battles go. He's definitely up here in S for sure. Next we have Nicole. Nicole is also pretty good for almost the same reasons.
Yeah.
She has the ability to keep people alive. She has standoff as well. And this here is just a little bit of a bonus. But I think
she's a little bit weaker, but
I'd say she's a little bit weaker because if she had a speed lead, she'd be really good, obviously. Like, if she had the speed lead instead of Osiris, wow. She would be everywhere.
Then again, you could always run Windwalker, Ocean Waves to obviously boost that speed and cooldown reduction. Personally, I don't think a lot of people are ended up putting Edamine, which is and Master Grove, which is all HP based. Personally, I don't think she needs the extra HP or the extra shield. Getting at least Windwalker, Ocean Waves, and potentially something with speed will help her out a ton.
Yeah, she basically has like a weaker revive mechanic than Osiris. Or it could be seen as similar since she can give it to the whole team. I don't know. I feel like where she is fine, but she could easily go in either tier. All right, next we have Scylla. Where are you?
Meredith.
There he is. There she is, Meredith. Now, since her release, I've seen little to none of her. But I think I think she has some strong values though that are better than some other characters. Like the poison's nice and Sonic Rituals and stuff, that's always nice. The ability to give defense up and crit resist only to one ally is rough, but the healing amount is very strong. And her third ability, being able to just do 30% of someone's max HP as damage, and heal all allies and give them a speed boost, can definitely be pretty decent, I feel, in Desolate Lands.
I think the only thing that she faults on with just Hand of Scylla, her third ability, is that the ally has to be 80% health or higher.
That's true.
To get the speed up.
But the heal comes first.
Right.
So if it heals and then applies the speed, then it's fine. I think there's just hasn't seen or been enough of her everywhere. I think she might have a decent spot in Desolate because of speed up, but then there's Siren or Saline who just also gives defense, which makes her better. She could
Laura.
Top of C or bottom of B would definitely be
where she is.
Where she fits. Until, like, more is seen, or maybe, like, a buff would come, because she's barely being used. Stuff like that.
Right.
Alright, Laura. Laura's a very strong defensive unit, for sure.
Yep.
She could have been better, but, with, crit resist is good, because critting and nuking is the meta right now. She's good in Fafnir, due to giving a shield. Due to giving the shield, reducing crit rate, her ability to counter, and, just keep giving shields is very strong. The silence isn't too crazy. It's mainly the shield. I guess the only thing that would make her a little better would be go crazy and give this crit resist and defense and a shield. That would make her absolutely nuts. But I think for now, with what she can do, she's had use in Desolate Lands as well, because, because of her shielding and survivability in there, and, anybody can be ran in Sonic Rituals. And I use her on my Fafnir team, so that gives her more value as well. I'll put her in A. Alright, the Starmon! No. Where are we putting him? Where's he going?
C.
Where are we putting Starmon?
C.
Put a Starmon C?
Yep.
He's better than Lewis.
Well, yeah.
Now, I don't know. The value of this guy being able to bump other espers is pretty good.
Yeah.
And his availability in all-star ratings is also pretty good.
Anything else? No.
We'll put him in A. Why not? All right. Next we have Geb.
Ahmed.
Ahmed is very good. He's receiving some changes and buffs coming up. They're specifying the healing in his passive to be more specific. And also his supporting song stacks are going from 2% base attack per 25 stacks to 4% per 15. So this is going from a 50% base attack boost to a 60% in less stacks. And he dispels disease. And with how things are against Hades and HP reduction, he's definitely gonna go up in this.
Yep.
He's great in Fafnir.
We'll have to see.
He can be good in the Desolate Lands. He reduces cooldowns on allies with his 3. People say you want to build him fast, which makes sense, but you also want him to actually heal.
Right. Personally, we might see him rise up because of his change, but not by much.
Not by much. Alright. My boy Stuart. Yeah! This is my boy. This is my guy. This is my boy Stuart. This guy's a motherfucking nuke. This guy.
He's got
nukes.
counterattack too.
Nah, this guy, dude, that doesn't, dude. You don't need to counterattack if they die.
Duh.
I run this guy in Chronos. I run him in APEP. I run him on my Hollow Battle teams. And I've messed with him in Desolate Lands to try to make it work. This guy nukes. His base, his 350% damage of his attack.
Not only that, extra damage of 200%.
He deals true damage based up to 200% of his own attack. Yeah, he loses 25% HP and he can inflict himself with sleep, but if you have immunity, he can't put himself to sleep. But if he is sleeped, he can just do more damage with the counter. But you might not need that counter, because they might get hit with an 80k crit and die. He's very powerful. He is very easy. He can easily disrupt a Hollow Battle team. He can easily disrupt a PvP team. He could, and if you don't want to build him maximum damage, you can also build him as a controlling supporter because he sleeps on every single ability. He has decent cooldowns with 3 and 4. I would say he's probably on par with Set in damage, but better than Chloe in damage, because her damage can be inconsistent in PvP. With him, you're like, yes, you right there, you're dying, and I'm gonna take a nap afterwards. What are you gonna do about it? Stuart is extremely strong.
You said Stuart was better than Set?
I think their damage is on par, but I think with... Yeah, what am I grading?
I was about to say, if they're around the same place...
Because Set does good single target damage. I think Set's damage might be a little better at times because of his speed scaling that he also has on 2 of his abilities, and he gives him spell speed. Personally,
I see the use of, even if he does go to sleep and he's attacked, he uses Soundly Dreams, and then he inflicts the sleep back on the other person as a counterattack.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of value in him for sure. He's a very strong single target DPS for sure. All right. So next we have Zora. Where are you? There you are. Next we got Zora. Zora was recently out. Zora to me just seems like a weaker Hades.
I also got that vibe.
A weaker Hades, she can be used in multiple ways. She gives herself speed, she can be a buff blocker, like a speedy buff blocker. She can give disease and be, do more damage. She's still very strong. I think she's one of the better Violet DPS because there's not a lot of Violet DPS in the game. As you can see from, A and up, we have, mainly, Wind and Inferno DPS, and then mainly, flow supports and stuff. So I think as a DPS, I think she'll sit in A. I think she's good. She's definitely not as good as Hades. I would definitely... she's good in most areas because of her ability to multi-hit and technically take multiple turns with Keen Edge. You could run an Astral set on her, so she gets the possibility of 2 attacks a turn. You could run Revenge Hades, like I'm pretty sure most people do. Yep. She's strong, for sure. Definitely one of the better, like, Violet damaging characters in the games. But I can see her getting outclassed in the future. Or maybe the next update.
Dun dun dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Alright, we're coming to the end. The Azure Dragon. We've got... Yep. This guy has very strong single target damage. For sure. Upon critting, he deals extra damage, I think with everywhere. Stealth makes him do so much damage. So he does 210% damage here, because he hits 3 times. Gains stealth. In stealth, he increases damage by 30%, and he gains 30 AP. And he gives us a stealth at the beginning of battle. This goes to 240. Each debuff on an ally grants them an extra up to 150, and then upon killing, he gains stealth. I haven't seen him a lot in Desolate Lands, but I feel like his damage would be good. I feel like he's good in Chronos and Sonic Rituals because of the same reasons Amir is. I just think his value as a Violet DPS is a lot higher than Zelmer. So I'm gonna put him... We'll put him in B for now. Yeah?
Yep.
Okay. Just want to make sure you're still here after 2.5 hours. But there's a lot of characters. Luckily in the future there'll be quick little updates with new characters and changes. Yay!
Yep.
Alright, next
Aurelius! They really screwed him.
No,
honestly.
They didn't screw him. It's just the meta of the game right now does not benefit freeze comps because of Dispel, immunity gain. It really makes him hard, because he has resourceful characters that can help him. Longmane's a great character right now that can do that. Kaylee can help him out as well. You can even run as a attack buffer on the team. You could run Brynn as well. She also has a freeze mechanic. Technically, Dolly could also work. She also freezes, even though it's single target. But the game right now, having its focus on immunity and dispelling easy, makes it hard for him to do his bonus damage against frozen targets. Because you also need him to be fast enough to keep up with those teammates as well. Because a lot of his damage is reliant on them being frozen, or bonus damage at least.
Yep.
Alright, we're down to the last 2, even though it should technically be 3. We'll just talk about Alice and say where she would technically go. Maybe they'll remember her when they update this with the next thing. Alice is really fucking good. She gives speed, crit rate, and attack boost on the turn. Her best friend is going to be Unki Chai for cooldown reductions as well on the team. She can pursue another ally, making her good in Desolate Lands possibly, along with... other PvP if possible. Like her best friend could easily be Tang Yun on a Hollow Battle team if she procs him to go. She's really strong. I could easily put her in S, probably right next to Dahlia.
Probably, yep.
If we had a picture, post it at me. Put a picture of Alice there. You got it.
Slap.
It won't be that hard. It's at the end of the video. You'll forget about it anyways.
Right.
Next are the 2 recent ESPERs. I want to go over Ophelia first. Actually, we're gonna skip that guy.
I was about to say, let's go over Ophelia first.
So Ophelia's good. Being able to use her in the event was able to make me see like her viability. She's definitely good in Hollow Battle. She's definitely going to be good in Desolate Lands because she can pursuit attack multiple times. She also gives defense down. Each hit does less damage, but that doesn't matter because it has a 270% scaling. She can give herself a bonus turn if she kills. She's good overall. Another solid Violet or Wind or Flow DPS. Definitely nice. And then we got Jiang Julie. This guy is nuts.
He's definitely nuts.
He's like a beefier Hades.
Personally, I see him as S
I haven't seen him a ton in
but-
PvP, but I would definitely
but-
put him in S above Hades. Like, there's no even like specific order to most of these, except for
Right.
like some characters. But like, his passive is not only a 500-word essay, but does so much.
Personally, I think once the meta starts to fully learn him and see what his real strengths are,
And more people
what
actually get him.
and more people like get him. Well, I think we might see him go down. Personally,
he's got a second life. He's got a second
But-
life. Dog, his passive gives him 50% more speed, attack, and defense. But he can't be faster than the fastest sprinting team. So if you run, so like my guy on a speed lead has about like 270 speed. This guy can get up to 270 speed with 100% extra attack and defense, with an AoE skill, and just a chunking single target attack.
yikes.
Like, if I didn't have to save because I was low on summons, I would have tried to go for him and not get him, but he just looks gross as a character. I want him to use him because I feel like he'll be really good. He also ignores defense in demon mode.
Oh,
He does randomly attack an enemy, but he ignores defense. He dispels all the buffs from the target. Like, it's wild. I
Yeah.
feel like he's gonna be pretty crazy. So, yeah, that's it. That's the tier list. Obviously, some stuff will change in the future as they are nerfing and buffing other espers. If you have any complaints, eat it.
I would definitely. So first, that was pretty rough.
No,
I
I'm
will
kidding,
say,
I'm kidding.
however, I will say, however, there are some edge cases for a lot of for some of these picks. Honestly, do we feel like some people that are in F, they got changes? Could they move up?
I feel like Lewis is going to be tickled out a lot because, as a 5-star Esper, him being considered a really crappy low DPS is a good look for the game because it means not all 5-stars are the best, but it also makes him look back because they're like, dang, we really screwed up on this. I don't know what they could do to Liao to make him better. Multiple target devour, maybe? Yeah. I don't know. Make it not be blocked by immunity.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe once the meta maybe if we get more defensive meta in a wave, maybe these guys can pop off more.
I think we're gonna need to see a defensive meta
Remove
shift
immunity.
before we see. I was about to say immunity is a. There's so much immunity in this game. Is not funny.
Leave immunity to one turn.
Immunity to one turn, or get rid of it as a whole. Because there's
only
just
let
way
dispelling
too.
be a thing.
But
then the issue is that it's like, ha ha ha, here comes my control team of Longmane, Jian, Mimir, Bonnie, that just gets way too hectic.
Right, and that's fine. I like 1/3 of the game, at least 1/3 of the characters has immunity. Or some type of strong debuff blocker.
Yeah.
It's just, and I think that's why it's so offensively built, an offensively like nuking meta, because just because of that, and for them to use immunity to fix it is not the correct solution.
Right. I don't know. I mean, there'll probably be more dispellers coming out. Like Apollo is good, Tricky is good, Odin's very strong with dispelling as well. Zeus coming out will most likely have his attack hit the whole team and dispel them as well. So you want him to be slower but fast enough to be annoying. Yeah. So, in the future, there will probably be other videos on this once the new espers come out and they're messed around with them a little. Maybe fully understand what's going on. And, sorry about clicking to that. My ADD saw button and I clicked it. But yeah, that's the tier list. I accidentally clicked on Twitter.
Yep.
For like a half second, I clicked on Twitter. And I was just like, whoop.
nom.
Luckily, it was just a picture of like a dog eating something. I don't know what it was.
Was it
a capybara?
now.
No, I don't want to. I don't know what's there.
It's just an animal eating like some fruit.
Oh, okay. Okay. So we were fine. We were fine. But yeah, that's the tier list. If you have any complaints about it or have more of an opinion to give on some characters, then sure, leave it in the comments. Why not? This is a fully 100%, 10,000% accurate tier list. Everybody else's opinion is wrong, except it's not, because you can use whoever you want in a gacha game and have fun with it.
Right.
This is just from us looking into the game after playing it for a bit and seeing who's where and who's stronger, who's weaker, and might need some help in the future. So thank everybody who's actually made it this far, and if you jumped all the way to the end, then cool. Hi, what's up? Like and subscribe.
Peace out.
Leave a comment, and if you don't do any of that, dislike the video. Let me know that you were here in some type of way. Adios.
Adios.
See you next time.